I didn't officially meet Kevin Miller until I would say the fall of 2020, sometime around October, November of that year, right after I had moved back home to Arkansas after spending 3 years in Texas. And this was around the time I moved back in March of 2020, right around the time when everybody thought the world was ending because of COVID. And, we're all just trying to figure out our own things to do while social distancing. And that's pretty much what I went back to doing what I always do, and that is some sort of sports and sports coverage. And at that time, I was very, very green, still fairly new, but was very green in the business, and really was just trying to form connections, was trying to just get to know coaches, all those different things. And I received a direct message from Kev on, again, it was sometime around October, November of 2020, and it was on Twitter. And it basically just said, hey, I do a lot of sports, and I had heard of him before, just kind of watching some video clips on social media and all those things. And he gave me his number and we hopped on a call. And I'll be honest, I was kind of a little bit confused because I'm like, why is this guy that I don't know? And I really, this is the first time I've ever talked to him in my life. Like, what is it that, why would he want to help me? Like, what business does he have doing that when he's trying to build his own brand and all these different things? And I quickly realized once we got off the call and once I continued to get to know him, that Kev had probably the biggest servant heart of anybody that I've ever met. He's up there with the best of them. And that's just meaning not only in sports, but just being a friend to somebody, whether that was at his job, of course, with his family that he loved so dearly. He was just a servant anywhere that he went, and he was a great encourager to me. And I can't tell you how many times that I felt like I was maybe fed up with this business. We deal with a lot of things and don't get paid very much for it. So I cannot tell you how many times I would give him a call and just really vent. And every single time it was, remember why we do this. And he would remind me, and he was kind of my voice of reason, for lack of a better term. And really, from that point on, we just continued to get stronger and stronger. And we did a lot of things together, also alongside many of the people that are involved in coordinating this event. And after he had put together, he kind of was the leader in putting together the basketball media days that went on last October. And of course, the next thing that we had in mind was football. And unfortunately, he passed away 4 months after the basketball media days, and he didn't get to see this come to fruition. But I have no doubt that Kev is smiling down right now just because of not only this event, but the team camp and just the way that people have honored his memory. Man, it's just been so overwhelming to see people that knew him well, that maybe didn't know him much at all, but just knew the impact that he had on so many different people. And that's the reason why we're gathering here today and also Thursday and Friday, is to do the things that he loved to do in his honor, because at the end of the day, that's really, other than again his family and his work, that was right up there with the most important things. Was bring two important things to him was bringing coverage and bringing exposure to the state of Arkansas, to our athletes. Didn't matter whether you were the last one off the bench or you were a blue chip, 5-star recruit, or a NBA lottery draft pick projection in the next few years in basketball. It didn't matter to him. He wanted to help anybody that he could. And I'm so thankful for the friendship that he had, or that I had with him. And just that I had the chance to know him. I only had a chance to know him very closely for about 4.5 years. But hopefully through events like this and things in the future, where his name is involved, that will just continue to help his legacy live on and on and on, when those of us that are helping continue that go on are no longer here either. So I want to personally thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I want to thank First Community Bank for their hospitality, for the just amazing hosts that they have been to us, and all of our sponsors. We've got some great sponsors that have really stepped up and been a big part of this event. So we thank you so much. And again, thank you to those who are watching and following this and also understanding the reason why we do it. I hope you all enjoy these next 3 days. It's going to be a great honor being able to welcome over 60 teams from across most parts of the state of Arkansas. And hopefully this will just turn into something bigger and bigger each year. Thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoy this event. It's going to be a packed 3-day extravaganza that we are so excited about.
Let some of this noise. Okay, welcome back to day 2 of Big Miller Basketball Media Days here at First Community Bank. This wonderful facility. We'd like to thank First Community Bank for allowing us to do this. Without First Community Bank, this would not be possible. Thank you to all the fans, to the coaches, to the players that's coming here today. It's a big thank you. First and foremost, we're going to kick off with Bryant girls today. This media day for the next 2 days, if I don't know if everybody know, but it's a 3-day event. But for the next 2 days, we're looking at 28 teams, 26 teams a day. So tune in, and thank you for allowing us to bring this to you. Bye.
Ready to go. My name is Coach Teague, and I'm the coach of the Lady Bryant Hornets. To my right, I have Isabel Terry, Brooke Kaczynski, got it right that time, India Robinson, a.k.a. Indy, and Skylar Piercy. These two are my seniors on my left, Skylar and India, and the two on my right are juniors. Last year, we ended up with a 16-16 record at Bryant. Had a solid season. Ended up, I think, 5th in conference and made the state tournament. Expectations for this year, pretty bland for us right now. Our expectations are to just go out and compete every single game. Go out and compete in every game that we play in. Yes, we do want to compete for conference championships. Yes, we do want to win tournaments and all that. But right now, we're at a point where we're wanting to compete and grow together as a team, grow leaders out of this team. And I think that's where we're at in our program at the moment.
Yeah, Coach. So nice intro. We heard about, your team wanting to compete. So what's the approach, coming into practice to make your team compete? What's that one thing that you hang your hat on?
Right now, it's just, I think that defensively, we pushed that. We're about 50-50, I guess, defense and offensively, but our drills in practice right now are heavy in competing every single day. And we just put an emphasis on that and playing hard every minute of practice, and that's just where we're at.
Yeah, so the 6A conference, let's talk about the 6A conference and a non-conference schedule. Give us a little insight on your non-conference schedule and just how competitive it is to prepare you for the conference.
Schedule's a lot harder than it was last year. We went out and found some more teams that were, different diversity teams that played different kinds of different ways to try to prepare us. We've got teams that are going to press us and teams that are, are big, teams that they play fast, they play slow. So we're trying to diversify how we play or be able to prepare to play against all those teams. And hopefully that's going to prepare us for our conference, because our conference is going to be brutal.
Man,
it's
brutal.
going to be tough.
Say it's tough, yeah. So this is to the ladies. So coming into this season, give us an insight just on your outlook coming into this season. Starting here.
I think we need to go into the season.
Get up to the mic, son, for me. You can move it to you. There you go.
Go into the season just like as one, knowing that we're going to do it as a team no matter what the outcome is, and for a win.
Yeah, put the mic up close to you if you can, please.
My outlook is just competing every game, getting out there, working hard, winning, really.
I'd say my outlook would probably be just playing hard and
Yeah, I think that we just go in, play as a team, play hard. Yeah.
So what's some of the things for the players? So what's some of the things you've been working on during the off season to get you prepared?
I say like keeping the energy up, being leaders for the whole team, and just making like you competing and making everybody else compete with you.
Definitely transition defense. Really heavy on defense right now. Three-pointers are going to be big this year.
I'd say defense and working on our shots. We got to hit a lot of shots this year.
I say defense. I think defense is going to be big for us this year. Yeah.
So, Coach, I think you all went 500 last year, so to speak. So, coming into this season, what's some of the strengths and weaknesses that you see in your squad at this point?
Now, I guess I go with weaknesses is putting together a four-quarter game, putting together the intensity that you need to win a game through 4 quarters. I think that's one of our weaknesses as a squad. Of course, we're not going to be very tall. I think our tallest kid may be 5'10", and then it goes down after that, 5'9", and then lower. So rebounding, that's going to be a thing we're going to struggle with, and defending the post. You know, our strengths, what I've seen so far in our strength is really surprising is our offense. Offense in transition and stuff has been a big boost to me to see what we can do there. But offensively, I'm really pleased with what our kids are doing. Defensively, they're dig. I think they're starting to understand me a little bit, and where I come from, I'm really an intense coach, and very detailed. And sometimes I think in practice they see that, you know, maybe we're not doing good. He's always on us. He's always going and going and going. So I think that stuff, I think they're buying in, and they're starting to understand me, and I think that's a strength that's going to show itself as the year goes on.
Indy, you worked hard, culminated to your senior year. You had a great summer, picked up several offers, kind of have all that individual stuff taken care of now that you don't really have to worry about it that much. So tell us what you're working on now to be a team leader, to ultimately get to those team goals. And I'd kind of like to hear, you know, in your opinion, what your team goals are going to be.
I'll say probably working on my communication as being a leader. And for my team, we just need to play hard and have good energy on and off the court.
So this is to the team. So give us an insight on just how the chemistry has been so far during practices, you know, even doing live scrimmages.
I think our chemistry is getting there. Though I think the more that we play together and compete, our chemistry is getting there.
Yeah, I definitely think we have, you know, struggled, but I think we're finally starting to, you know, get it together, especially because season's coming up. And, yeah.
I think our chemistry's there. I think even though we have those hard days or like we're all on edge or whatever, but we're always still there, like clapping each other, hyping each other up, just getting to the practice.
Yeah, Coach, so I see that you brought 4 players here with you. Are there any other impact players that wasn't able to make the trip that you want to make us aware of?
Yeah, we have several. We are pulling up 3 ninth graders. We're going to be playing 3 freshmen a lot this year, and there's a couple more. Right now, I'm looking at us as a 10 deep squad. So yes, there's going to be several people that are going to have possibility to have impact. The freshmen, I think, they're going to take a while to grow, but we're going to depend on them a lot, and that's the process of getting these guys that are older to mesh with them, and they get along real well, and I see that chemistry starting to happen right now quite a bit.
Yeah. So what would be the key, for your team to have some major success this season? What would be that key thing that you would like to see out of them?
I really think it's learning how to the mental process of walking out on the court ready to win a game. The mentality, I think, we're getting there physically and stuff. We're getting them in condition and everything right now, and the skill level is rising. But it's that mentality when you walk out on the court, are we prepared to beat that team? And not being satisfied with if we happen to be up 10 points, the game's over. That's not my mentality. I want to go up 20. I want to go back up to 30. I want to, beat
pressure
somebody.
on. Yeah.
Just never stop the intensity level. And I think that's going to be the key for these guys if they come out with that intensity for 4 quarters.
So this is for the players. So you just heard Coach say he want that intensity, right? So how do you all, amongst each other, keep that intensity going? What's some of the things that you all can do, to make that happen?
I think it should start off on defense, like hustling for the ball, get 50-50 balls, and keep the energy up even when we're down, and just play hard.
I'll say playing hard and keeping the energy, and diving on the floor, all that.
I would say that goes back to like competing, competition, just pushing them to be the best that they could,
I would say just communicating, continue to talk, that not ever like staying quiet. Just keep competing, talking to each other, hyping each other up.
It seemed like those practices be pretty competitive. So what's the energy like as y'all playing? Do y'all, hold each other accountable? Is there a lot more competition amongst you all, or what?
Yes, there's some competition at times. I think that some people would, we get after it, and it's never easy. But at the end, we all still teammates, so.
Right.
I agree with her. We compete a lot in practice, and I think it starts in the locker room before we go out, hyping each other up and all that.
Right. Okay, so, I always ask this question before we start wrapping the interview up. What's that one team on your schedule that you're looking forward to playing this year?
I feel like we can circle all of them.
It's not that one team that you are like, man, they slipped through the cracks last year. We really want that game back.
Conway.
Huh?
Conway.
Conway?
Conway.
Conway. 6A Conway. Okay. Hey, they're a pretty scrappy squad, so, they probably listening to you. So, Conway, they want the smoke. So, Coach, we appreciate you all coming out. Thanks for allowing us to get a chance to interview you guys. So, once again, you have anything?
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Well, that
for having
concludes
us.
our interview. Appreciate it, Coach. Next up we have East Stem High School boys basketball with head coach Monty Patel. How you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Just briefly introduce yourself and the players that you brought from the
Honestly, I'm not too worried about introducing myself. I did want to talk on a topic real quick. Kevin was a good friend, and I don't think the guys in this room, the kids here, people in the summer realize the amount of things he did for our state. And I've been watching a lot of these and I haven't really heard anyone just talk about Kevin in deep love of what he did. But I just wrote a couple notes of here, and I know one of the things that I thought was a tough decision for me was not to go to his funeral because the state finals were going around, and I'm thinking about the conversations I had with Kevin, and he has no agenda. He's like, if he knew he was having a funeral, he wouldn't have told me to come there. He just said, go support your AAU kids, go support your high school kids, go support all the people you need to. Typically, he would have been at the state finals, and obviously he went on vacation for the first time in a long time, knowing he works for us in the summer, and didn't make it back. He took an extended one. We got so much beef in our state. So many of the kids argue, so many of the coaches, and everyone just has so much beef. And I learned from Kevin over 3 years in the summer how we should have no agenda. Our agenda should be the kids, regardless of what school they go to. Kevin would be with us on road trips, and Kevin would say things like, man, I'm going to go cover this team when we're paying him to come cover ours. And I'm like, great. But at times I'd be frustrated, and Kevin would just say, hey, man, I'm here to cover the kids at the end of the day. And you sit there and look, and if there's one person we can say that never had an agenda, it was Kevin. And you can't say that about me. You can't say that about coaches. You can't say that about even media at times. But if there's one person that did so much for our state that, like, the 7th, 8th, 9th graders of the world now don't even realize, is Kevin was helping everybody. How many times I'd get calls about, hey, who's an unsigned senior that we need to get looks? Who's a sophomore coming up? Who's a junior? How many colleges reached out to Kevin to get him there? I took this East Stem job 3 years ago. We sucked. We won 12 games my first year, and Kevin showed up to our first game, and all of our kids think he's a celebrity. Coach, Kevin Miller's here. Yeah, he's a friend. He's a good dude. I'm like, oh my God, we've never had Kevin Miller. And it was like he was a local celebrity. You know, and then even last year, we won 9 games. We sent 3 kids to college, and I'm like, we're one of the suckiest teams with 3 guys going to play somewhere. And Kevin was a big part of that, helping get these kids' names out, even though he knew what kind of schedule we took on, because I told him it's never about me, and it's about East Stem, and it's about the kids getting a chance to play. Before going too long, I do miss his random phone calls where literally we talked about nothing. He would just call about absolutely nothing, and it would be one of the most entertaining things you'd ever hear. I know he called me the week that he passed just to tell me he was going on vacation. I was disappointed because I expected him to see at the state finals to help out and be around. But, you know, our kids literally don't know what they're missing. We appreciate y'all doing this. I don't know, in another state that does this type of thing for the entire state. But man, we're up here and we just can't forget the main thing. And that's what I tell these kids. I got some sophomores up here, a junior up here, 2 seniors. And Kevin was the reason a lot of these guys got looks. And I hope that continues on. I hope we find a way to keep helping our kids. But that's more or less what I want to talk about. I'll introduce our guys. Got Jaden Akins, he's a senior captain. I got Bryce McElroy, he's a senior captain. Kingston Alexander is a junior who was next in captain votes, and Holden Kirk was a sophomore that had captain votes. So I decided to bring the 4 guys that had the best leadership quality.
Okay, starting from left to right, give us a little insight about yourself and let us know what your outlook for the season.
My outlook for the season, honestly, is just competing every day and getting after it in practice. Like, don't take anything for granted, honestly.
My outlook for this season would just be what he said, to compete with everybody and just show everybody how unselfish we are and just compete with everybody every day.
Mine is just play hard, play together, and play as a team, basically, yeah.
My outlook for the season is to come out, win, play the team, and just have fun.
Coach, I understand that y'all was in a battle last night. Give us a little insight on that game. Double overtime.
You know, we don't have football, thankfully, and so we got to go start off our season last night versus Bergman, who is a 3A, been in the state title game the last 2 years. I told our kids they've lost 10, 12 games over a 2-year span, and you can't put a price tag on winning. We got down 12 to start off, had an injury here, had a foul trouble, had to go to a backup to play at the big position. We got down 12, cut it to 5, scored 30 in the third quarter. They went on a run towards the end. It goes into first overtime, goes into the second overtime. We end up running out of gas. They end up getting a couple leak out layups, and now we're playing chase. We had 4 guys in double figures last night. We kind of hurt ourselves. We were 10 of 40 from 3 about, and we had 18 turnovers. But first game, and you're kind of trying to figure out what you got with a bunch of new guys and figuring out some gel.
Yeah. So speaking about that, so what do you think some of your strengths are and compared to your weaknesses?
Well, I would have said 3-point shooting, but we were 25% last night, so ask me again here in a week. But I think that's going to be one of our best, strongest suits. We get up at 7 a.m., we do shooting workouts, just strictly shooting, and then we do it again in the afternoon. If you'd have told me we went 10 for 40, I'd have thought you were crazy. I've watched us rattle off 10, 12 threes in a row just in practice and scrimmage between 2 teams. But I think that's going to be one of our strengths on top of just toughness and liking each other. Our guys really, really like each other in the locker room, and something we've talked about is the teams that win at the end of the year are the ones that like each other the most. And I think our guys are really, really doing that. We had a few guys that weren't even eligible to play yesterday just from team culture standpoint, and Bryce is cramping up, and our kids on the bench, the same ones that are in trouble, are giving them spoonfuls of mustard to help them not cramp up.
Yeah.
And you see how much they really care for and like each other, and as cheesy as they may find that, that's the kind of culture and environment we want to build.
Right. So I heard you say you had 4 players in double figures. So how do you balance that? I mean, give us a little insight on just how you going to be able to manage that throughout the season.
I don't care who scores. The way we're playing, it a lot comes from a lot of the people that I've talked to. Our offense more resembles what the NBA is doing now. We're running a lot of stuff that attacks different bigs or different guards, and we're looking for matchups, and that's what we ran. And sometimes these guys struggle with that because they're obviously not pros. And so we're whoever's night it is. I told our coaching staff before, we're going to have a very balanced team. We're going to have a guy that goes for 24 like he did last night, but then we had a guy go for 15, 14, 13, 6, and 5. And it just adds up. So these guys, again, they don't care for their own individual stats. They trust me and my coaching staff to do our jobs and help them get to the next level when it's their times. And we tell them do their jobs and being unselfish and make the play for the next guy, and you'll have a lot more fun doing it.
Yeah, speaking on that, so each player, give us a little insight just on how that brotherhood is coming about and how is it helping your team?
I would say everybody trusts each other, and nobody's overly selfish. Like our bench last night, everybody was hyped, cheering for each other and stuff. It was fun overall.
I would say since we're all from different schools, we came here for one reason, and that's to win. So we all just want to win. So it's just unselfish, and we do anything to win.
Yeah, everybody trusts each other, and they want to see, we all want to see each other do good and be successful in life, bigger than just basketball.
I would say that everybody here want to win, and they want to see each other succeed. Yesterday was the most energetic bench I've seen, and I feel like we want to see each other win.
Coach, what's that one thing you hang your hat on? I hear him saying, that brotherhood and togetherness. What's that one thing you hang your hat on in practice?
In practice, we're mainly going for toughness. We're going for skill. We're going for playing smart basketball. Off the court, I tell these guys all the time, if your value on this team is playing time alone, then you're going to be a miserable human being because you're never going to have enough. And so these guys just figure out how to play for each other and root on other people's success and find their joy in life. But, our hanging of the hat is going to be just on toughness and trying to figure out how to play for one another and not for oneself.
Right on.
Hey, Coach, how are you, man?
Good, how are you?
Hey, good, man. So 5A Central down to the 4A. Talk about that change in conference, how you feel it fits your program right now.
I mean, people look at our record and look at our conference last year, and what they don't realize is if you take out one quarter, we're third place in conference. We were the 13th biggest 4A school playing 5A Central, which is one of the 2 toughest conferences in the entire state of Arkansas. And we competed, and we're back to where our numbers say we need to be. I think that's better for us from what our situation at school is. We don't always have the most ideal situation, but I mean, at the end of the day, whoever's on the schedule is whoever on the schedule, and we don't have time to make excuses. We got to problem solve and get better.
Speaking of that schedule, have you all looked at the schedule, and are any one of you guys excited about one team that you're looking to play?
They have no comment.
Well, so I guess, Coach, I already done prepped y'all to keep your mouth closed on that situation, but y'all have anything?
Okay, for the players, real quick, talk about playing for Monty. Monty's a guy that's well respected, and you know, a lot of kids want to play for. And so, talk about he's still in the program, but playing for Coach Patel.
I feel like, especially in practice, he tries to push us to like what we're fully capable of, and builds us as a player, and then more like builds us as a person in general.
Coming off what he said, Patel's the most consistent person I know. Every practice, we got a practice plan. We just get at it every practice. I ain't gonna lie.
Coach Patel, he's like the realest coach I've probably ever played for. He when I first got here, he told me I was gonna have to work. Nothing was handed out, and he just a real coach.
Patel, I've been him 3 years, and I would say he's not only trying to build a basketball player, but a adult, and he's trying to help make everyone around him better, and even the players.
Y'all will each get your $20 now.
So with that said, Coach, we appreciate you all coming out. That concludes the interview. Like I said, we wish you luck for the rest of the season.
Thank y'all for having us.
All right. Okay, up next we have Bryant Hornet High School basketball, the boys version. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Got head coach. I'm sorry, coach. Got head coach Mike Abrahamson leading the way. Coach, give us a little insight.
I just want to say first, thanks for having us, Nigel, Chris, Kyle. I heard Coach Patel talking about Kevin. Cannot forget Kevin. He did have such an impact for these young guys. He was awesome. He was awesome. So thank you all for continuing this and keep us going. I think it's great that y'all promote high school basketball in the way that y'all do. We appreciate it a lot. I brought with us today R.J. Newton, R.J. Young, Kellen Robinson, and Kamarion Bede, CB.
Okay, Coach, start off, give us a little insight on, last season all the way up to now.
Well, we were state runner-up last year. Had a good season. Started off 0-2 and then went on I think it was a 26-game win streak, which is cool to look back on in the moment. We weren't really focused on it. When it got to about 17, everybody around us started talking about it, and these guys were able to keep good focus and keep us going.
Yeah.
Played really well, probably our best game of the year in the state semifinals, and then I thought we played well in the championship game. Just Central played better. They had a great game. And so we got 4 returning starters from that team, which is great. These guys have been through it, and here we go. When you come off that game and you lose that game, and it's tough. It's tough, but when you start thinking about the next season, you go, man, you got to start all over. You got to start all over, and it's so hard to get there.
Yeah.
And but we've embraced that.
Right. So I was right there from the first beginning to see those first 2 games. And those first 2 games, it could have went either way. I saw a lot. And just to piggyback off that, you all went on that stretch. That was a very impressive stretch you all went on. So when you make it to the finals, what's your plan or what's your preparation to get back to the finals? Because y'all was right there, and including that run. So what?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we talk a lot about. It's not that we this year need to just win one more game,
right,
to put ourselves in position to get there, and then you have to win those games. You have to win your way there.
Yeah.
There's no other way. So it's not like we're automatically inserted, into that situation just because of what we did last year and who we have coming back. It starts all over, and everybody right now, is filled with optimism, and everybody right now is going to improve. And what you see in November is not what you're going to see in February and March. So,
right,
we take it day by day. I know that's a cliche, and I know that's a thing a lot of people say, but literally, we try to make the most of every single day.
Right on. So let's talk about your non-conference scheduling, and to prepare you for that grueling, February, March, those times. Let's talk about that non-conference schedule. Give us a little insight on just how you schedule your time to prepare you.
Well, I want the best for these guys that are in our program, and I want the best for these 4 that are sitting up here right now. And so we schedule tough, and it's brutal. We're starting the matchup showcase again. We're going to a tournament in Fayetteville, which is going to have some really good teams in it, some out-of-state teams in it. We are going to, of course, play other good teams, Benton, Hot Springs, Little Rock Christian in non-conference, Northside. We're going to King of the Bluegrass in Louisville, Kentucky. We're in the Pine Bluff, the King Cotton Classic. And so, we're loaded up. And then, of course, our conference is going to be tough as usual.
Yeah. So let's start with the players. Give us a little insight on your outlook for the season, considering that the season y'all had last season.
My outlook for the season is to basically do the same thing we did last year, but this year we just need to finish.
Yeah.
My outlook for the season is I'll say what he said, but I feel like we just gotta do a little more so we can win that last game.
Yeah.
We just taking it day by day, getting to know each other better, starting to get our chemistry back. Yeah, we're just taking it day by day.
Like they said, just finish. That's been the biggest thing in practice. Just finish drills, finish practice, finish plays, finish offensive rebounds, finish everything we do in practice. So I think the biggest thing we didn't do in the state championship was finish. We didn't, we kind of separated a little bit. We should have gelled together. We should have been there for each other during the hard times, when we was down 10, 15. So I just think finishing was the main part.
So I'm curious, after the matchup showcase last year, Everybody know you went 0-2, but those games was very competitive. What was the light switch, amongst the players? What was the light switch moment that bloop y'all, it flipped and y'all went on that run? What was it? What was the message?
For real, we ain't even like, everybody was like, what's the word?
Well, hungry, devastated.
Not even. We just went to practice the next day and we just went harder and we kept going.
Yeah.
Feel me? That's really.
I would say it wasn't nothing. It was just you take the 2 losses on the chin and you get better the next day. You can't change the past, so might as well get better in the present while you can.
Right.
It's another day. You live to see another day. So I just say go by the next day and just trust each other. Trust what Coach was saying. Last year in the showcase, we wasn't bought in we was when we went on our 26 game win streak. So I just say we bought in as a team. We trusted each other. We bonded more. We start going to church service. We start Bible study on every Wednesday. So I guess it was the bond that we put together as a team, and that's what brought us to how we was last year.
Yeah.
It was their decision.
Yeah.
It was their decision. The message didn't change. It was their decision how our season was going to go, and it's going to be their decision again.
Right on. So, I'm always curious about that practice, how that energy is in practice, how the camaraderie is in practice behind the doors. How do you hold each other accountable during those tough practices?
Energy contagious, especially when you got coach, probably actually one of the realest coaches in the state. Keep it real with you, whether he your dad, he your coach, whoever he is to you. Contagious, he there every day, he show up every day, he don't change. He got a practice plan every single day. We don't get off the plan till we never get off the plan. So either you're going to rise up to his level or we just going to be stuck on something for the rest of the practice. And, as a team, we try to come together and figure it out because in games, he can't play for us. So, practice is the closest thing for him to really, touch the ball and pass it, really just get to play for us. So, it shouldn't start with him. It should definitely start with us. And most of the days it do. But we control whether we have bad or good days.
Okay.
I think they're probably, Nigel, this time of the year, especially with some good players, Kellen's laughing at me, I'll cause some friction in there. And, but I think they're looking forward to the season and because during games, obviously, during the season, during those practice shifts a little bit, and we're very clearly on the same page, and we're on the same page now. But to create a certain growth that we're trying to get, I've got to cause some friction at times, and it's not, we have to remind ourselves of that we're all on the same team. But now we're shifting into that. Now the season is here, and so it's been good. It's been real good. We've been able to really get after it some days. It's been good.
So, Coach, with the success you all had last year, you all have a pretty big target on your back, right? So how do you manage that with your team, letting them know, hey, look, we're not the hunted. We're not the hunters. We are the hunted. So give us a little insight on how you manage that with your team.
Well, like CB talked about earlier, consistency. We're the same every day. And we, no offense to you, but we don't let anybody label us as hunters or the hunted.
Right.
We are hunters all the time, right now. And that's just who we're going to be. That's part of our identity. Yeah. And we decide that. Like I told you earlier, they decide how the season goes. And I do my best to be the same every day and to put them in situations where they're going to grow and improve and come together. A lot of it's bigger than basketball. A lot of it has nothing to do with basketball. But that's just our identity. We want these guys to play with an edge and play together and be different. Yeah. Be different. We say that all the time.
Speaking of the edge, speaking of that mentality, What's that one player that you want to play? What's that one team that you have circled on, that matchup that you're looking forward to?
Like, we just taking it day by day. It's not even before we play our first game, we still got practice today and we got practice tomorrow. So we got to finish practice today and we're going to go to practice tomorrow.
I'll say it's us. I say it's us. I would say it's us. I'm not gonna say we're not really too worried about anybody, but as a team, we focus on us as a team. So getting better, we shouldn't, worry about nobody else. Because I know we gonna show up every day. It's about them showing up every day. It's about if we get more runs than them, we gonna win the game. Right. So I think me personally, I don't know about the other three, or the other two. But if we get more runs, I got a strong belief in we gonna win the game by 20 plus or more. Because we just that type of team that's gonna finish. We go through adversity every day. Like after this, maybe like 4 or 5 hours later, we got to run.
We went through adversity on the way here today. Our bus almost broke down, and we got somebody out there looking at it right now. I think they brought us a new bus, so
yeah,
it's a constant.
Yeah, we definitely don't got the perfect life. So
right on.
We got something hard to do at like 250, so 240. So I think it's us for real.
Right on.
That's something that when we start our season, they understand that we have to have a healthy respect for each opponent. Yeah. In that if we circle a game on the calendar, you're disrespecting the games before that and after that. And I know that's not what the media wants to hear, but that's just real. That's right. That's real.
Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us the opportunity to get an insight and pick your brains a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Cabot High School boys basketball. Head coach Troy Campbell leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, doing awesome. Coach, give us a little interview. Give us a little.
Introduction.
Give us a little introduction. Give us a little introduction about you and the players you brought with you, please.
Yes, sir. First off, I also want to say thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you for putting on this event. It's something that's really great for our program, but also every program in the state. And so thank you guys so much just for having us. I'll introduce the guys here. This is a senior for us, Wyatt Phillips, and then another senior for us, Colton Rosenbaum. These are the two guys that got some experience last year on the team. But as far as me, this is my 16th year of coaching. That's my first year at Cabot High School, and we're excited about this year. We're excited about bringing in basically almost a new team, new production, and I know we won't have a lot of experience coming off, last year, but I do love our team. I like our team. We're hungry, and we're excited.
Okay, Coach, coming into a new role, well, not
Yes,
a
sir.
new role, but you're head coach, but a new head coaching position at Cabot.
Yes, sir.
Just give us a little insight on how the community have embraced you and how the players have embraced you.
Well, as a new coach, you always worry about when you go in somewhere new, the buy-in. And I would tell you the buy-in from the players and these guys has been everything that you wanted, everything that I wanted, everything that me and Coach P, my assistant coach, wanted, bringing in him with me. And the community's been outstanding. And that was one of the things that brought me to Cabot was I knew that they really, really cared about athletics. And so I'm excited about it. They have absolutely bought into me and our programs and our system. It might look a little bit different as far as the Cabot boys basketball program when it comes to just schemes and style and all that. And so we're excited, and I've been very blessed to be there, and we're looking forward to it.
Wyatt and Colton, I know Coach is going to lean on you guys a whole lot more for some leadership and production this year. End of the year last year didn't end quite the way you guys would want it. So what did you guys take with you during the offseason? What did you work on? How did you build your leadership qualities going into this year so you can make sure that doesn't happen again?
Really, we just, as a team, we just really just got together, and we just knew that, last year wasn't what we wanted, and we lost a lot of seniors, we lost a lot of team players, but we know what it takes. We have to win. We know that it's gonna be hard. We're undersized. We're a little bit less talented as other teams, but we just know we're gonna have to talk. Be on defense. We have to lock down, and really just communication and out hustling, out playing, being harder workers than everybody else, and so just outworking.
In terms of learning leadership, obviously our team doesn't have a whole lot of varsity experience this year. Me and him played a little bit last year, but in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't. We've lost a lot of production from last year in terms of gaining leadership over the off season. We've been in a variety of team camps. We've got a new coach. Just buying into his philosophy and his system is us being the seniors on the team. We're trying to just get everybody to not necessarily. I guess it's just trying to get everybody to motivate everybody to install what he's trying to get us to do, and to hopefully get us over the hump. So,
Coach, I heard him say philosophy. Give us a little insight. Well, let the fans know, the Panther Nation know your coaching philosophy. Give them a little insight on it.
So, basketball is a tough sport, right? And you're going to have off days, and there's going to be days you're going to be on. There's going to be times when you think you should win and you don't, and there's going to be times that you play teams that not on paper might be better than you, and you might be the underdog. And so my philosophy is just to compete, if I had to sum it up. And that's what these guys are. They have been hungry. We were making up early, getting in the weight room, getting extra shots. They are hungry. This whole team is. And I love seeing that. But from my philosophy standpoint is I want to compete in every single game. I know we might not look like the best or whatever, but I promise you we're going to play as hard as we possibly can. And I truly believe there's going to be some games that we're going to win that we're not supposed to. And that's fine. And that's what we want. And I kind of like that mentality of having that underdog mentality. And so I'm excited for these guys from just a schematic, I guess, standpoint. You know, I'm very defensive minded. Yeah. And so we're probably going to look a little bit different on defense than what they have in the past. And so these guys are buying in on the defensive end, and I know when it comes to basketball, there's going to be days that you don't shoot the ball well. Right. That's just part of it. Right. But if you can buy in on the defensive end, you can get some stops when you're supposed to. You can give yourself a chance to win some of those games.
Okay, so considering you lost four seniors, correct? It was 5 seniors. So considering you lost 5 seniors,
yes,
right?
sir.
Your team is looking different coming in. So
yes,
what's
sir.
some of your strengths coming into this season? What's some of your weaknesses that you see so far?
Do y'all want to answer or you want me to answer?
I can start.
Go ahead.
You know, I think defense has been good so far. Obviously, our scheme is completely different from what it was last year. Last year we played a pack line defense, and this year it's more of a I guess it's a man zone mix kind of thing. And so learning that it took a while, but I think we're starting to figure it out. And I think the scheme as a whole and individual players will be able to we'll have a really good defensive year this year.
I think so too. We have a really good defensive team. It seems like we like to guard. We're loud. We like being out there in the gaps. But our weakness will probably be rebounding. We only have like one big guy really, and so everybody else is going to have to be, boxing out people who are bigger than you, going to get it. And so, but if we can do that, then we'll be pretty set.
I'll tell you one of our strengths. We don't have a lot of returners, but I think that we have about 10 or 11 just solid players. So I think I really do like our depth. We're not going to have someone who can go out here and who's a 5-star that can get you 25 points a game. But what we do have is we have about 8, 10 guys who can all somewhat score the ball different kind of ways. And so it's going to be a community thing on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, they've been very bought in, and we're going to have to be tenacious on the defensive side of the ball, change things up, try to throw other people out of rhythm. And that's, so as far as the weakness goes, I know we don't have a lot of experience returning, but we start off with 5 games in 10 days. And so we're coming out hot and heavy. We're going to put them to the test and put them to the fire. And if we go 0-5, we go 0-5. It's about us growing and getting better and gaining experience.
So you got that 6A conference.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough conference. So how do you prepare your guys mentally for the gauntlet of the 6A?
So, obviously the 6A Central, everyone wants to argue, this conference is better, this conference, they're all good. So the 6A Central is absolutely a beast, but I'll be honest with you, we don't worry about 6A Central right now. We're worried about us. We're about us growing. We're about us worried about our first game, and that's Russellville on November the 9th. We're going to their place for a benefit game, and we're going to worry about that game to start off. Once we get to conference, I got a lot of confidence these guys are going to be better by the time we get there, and we'll see what we got.
Nigel kind of beat me to it, but 5A Central to 6A. I mean, you kind of go from the gauntlet to the gauntlet. Is there any difference in your mindset, preparation, anything that changes going from making that jump?
No, not necessarily. I know all the coaches say it's a cliche answer, but, I mean, you just got to take it one game at a time. I mean, you really, really do. Jay Billis said this a couple weeks ago or maybe a couple days ago about, getting to where you want to go is like a ladder. And you only climb up that ladder one thing at a time, one ring at a time. And that's just what you got to do. You got to take it one step at a time. And so that's how you climb the ladder. But, you you miss one step, you can fall down that ladder really quickly. And so what we got to do is just got to keep moving forward, keep growing. The 5A Central, obviously, you know, with the Little Rock Christian, Greenbrier moving in, you know, all those teams are really, really good. But the 6A Central, all those teams are really, really good. And so what we got to do is focus on us and what we can do to compete and put the best team possibly out there and stick in some games and win some of those that, like I say, we're maybe not supposed to win.
Okay, Coach. Well, that concludes our interview. We'd like to thank you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to speak, get some insight about your program and your players.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having us. Y'all did a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, up next we have Cabot High School girls basketball with head coach Jay Cook. How you doing, Coach?
Fantastic.
Hey,
Thanks
man,
for having us.
Give us a little introduction of yourself and the players you brought with you.
Like you said, Jay Cook, Cabot girls. This is our lone senior on our roster, Lily Bowles. Kaylin Bean on my right, junior point guard. Glad to be here.
Coach, you were literally one run away from a state championship at the end of last year. Hate to remind you about that. Lost a lot of production, lost a lot of seniors. Tell us about what you got coming back, who you're going to be leaning on, you know, putting some girls in some new roles, you know, who you like so far for leadership. You know, you brought these two for a reason, so kind of tell us about what we're going to see this year.
Yes, thanks for the reminder. You know, what's funny is on my way down here, I had to text my assistant to remind me what our record was last year, because it's amazing how quickly things turn. You know, even though two of those kids were my kids and I had to watch them walk out the door, you know, it immediately turned to, okay, how are we going to do this one? And then, yeah, there's a lot of production walked out the door. We've got a really good group of kids that are young, obviously with our lone senior, one senior on the roster, and with very little varsity experience. You know, we've been very transparent about that from day one. We know who we are. But at the same time, you know, this group of kids, it has a lot of character. They got a strong work ethic. They mean well. Their intentions are pure. And, you know, as far as high school basketball goes and putting a team together, that's all you can ask. I think, you know, I think I'm going to repeat what Coach Campbell said a lot during this interview. But I think what we're going to see is tremendous growth throughout the course of the year. You know, and if we, don't get me wrong, we're going to try to win them all. You know, we're always going to try to win them all. Just like we did last year, the year before that, and next year and all that. But if that's the only thing we're worried about, I think we're spinning our wheels, so to speak. You know, we're trying to help these kids develop into young people and young adults, and I think in that regard, although, and I say that to say this, we're going to get a lot better. I think we're going to be a lot better in January and February than we will be in November, December. The problem with that is, if we only worried about the winning part, our opponents in January and February are a lot stronger than they will be in November, December. So if we only equate it by wins, then we're spinning our wheels. We're looking to improve every day. We use the term "stay the course" a lot. We're going to put our blinders on and go to work every day. And I think these kids, even to this point, have improved a ton. Lily has taken on a role that I'm sure she feels is overwhelming at times as far as leadership. We've really encouraged our juniors to step up and you know, help her with that, even though sometimes that's not even a fair request, because they sincerely haven't been in the fire, and they really don't know what they don't know. So, and I haven't done a really good job of helping them with that from time to time this fall. But I think we're going in the right direction. I think Kaylin is starting to understand. Kaylin is starting to understand what we need from her. I think the rest of our juniors are starting to understand that we all want to play well, but at the foundation of it, it's how we operate day to day that has to be sound first. We have to have energy every day. We have to be good communicators every day. We have to have a strong work ethic every day. And although, no, they may not, they first time they step out on the floor, November 14th at Marion, may be some of their first varsity experience. That doesn't mean we can't get better at just how we play the game and how we practice the game every day. So we're getting there in that regard, and I think as that develops, I think our play will improve.
So I heard Coach talking about leadership. Lily, give us a little insight on just how that leadership role has affected you and how you're taking it toward your team.
I definitely learned that I can't do it alone, and leadership is a big part of what a team needs. And having a bunch of seniors do it for you last year, you kind of just have to adjust to it. And I think the juniors and a lot of the sophomores have helped a lot with that. And I think leadership is the one main key to having a successful season. So, and I think everyone kind of helps with it. So,
I feel as you have to be dedicated into it, and you have to come to practice every day, wanting to do it and not do it, and not do it when you want to, but wanting to do it every day. And I feel as if we talk more as a group, our practices go more smoother.
Okay, Coach, and to the players, considering the success you had last year, is there any pressure on you to replicate that? Is there any pressure, from the community, from your fans, to replicate that?
If there is, we wouldn't know. Like I said, we're going to put our blinders on and take care of ourselves, and concentrate on the group that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put enough pressure on ourselves day to day, as far as improvement and how we play and the way we play the game. We're not going to be able to feel it. We're going to put enough on us. We have high expectations, high standards. We have, high enough for everybody. So we wouldn't know, honestly.
Coach, you said it yourself that you guys will probably be way better team in January and February than you are now. And obviously everybody would expect that. Young team and experience now. but coming a month or two, you guys are going to grow up a whole lot. The unfortunate thing is you're in 6A, and those games in January and February are going to get harder. But talk about the non-conference schedule. Talk about the teams you're going to be facing, November, December, to get ready for conference.
I'm not going to name them all, but it's, somebody asked me just yesterday, my wife asked me yesterday, did you approach your scheduling differently than you have in the past with this group? I think that's an insult to our group. To lower our standards just to try to get a win or two. We still have high standards as far as how we compete at the state level in our conference. So we have to prepare our kids for that. And even if it's not necessarily wins, if nothing else, they need to see through our non-conference schedule what January and February are going to look like and feel like. And the only way you do that is to schedule high-level teams, high-level programs. And I think we've done that again. Bentonville's coming to our place. We're going to Bentonville West. Rogers Heritage is coming down to play us. We're opening at Marion in a benefit game on November 14th. So we'll get a really good look at some athleticism and aggressive play right off the bat for our kids. Collierville's coming to our tournament to play again this year. They were really strong last year. So, win or lose, we want to get to January and be able to say there's nothing you haven't seen. Nothing's going to be a surprise. You've seen just about every scheme, every defensive philosophy, every offensive philosophy, so we can draw from that as we enter conference play.
For the girls, considering practice, outside of practice, what's some of the things that you have done, individually to help you get better for this season?
Just staying the course and being able to talk to our teammates if they have any questions or anything, or like what to do and how to do it.
Talking about basketball-wise or?
Yeah, basketball-wise, for your skill-wise. I'm sorry if I didn't clarify that.
Like individually?
Yeah.
Like individually?
Yeah, outside of practice. You got practice. You do work inside practice. Are you doing work outside of practice to help with your skill, so you can bring it into this season?
Everyone, like after practice, everybody would shoot to work on their game.
We shoot a lot of balls.
Okay.
I would say we're kind of always like here for each other. Like, I've kind of had a different perspective, I guess, coming in and realizing things. And I don't know, just switched mindsets and making sure I'm there for people and making sure they get it. And we stay after practice and we shoot and kind of just help each other get better. And so, yeah.
Coach, we're going to see a different style of play than what you've had over the past 4 years. You've coached the same two for now 9th through 12th grade. They pretty much got it. Are we going to see the same style, or are we going to see something a little different?
It'll be the same style. You call it stubborn, you can call it hard-headed, you can call it whatever you want. I still believe there's a right way to play this game. There's a bunch of different ways to win games at this level. But when it comes to developing people, developing young adults, I think you have to instill toughness and physicality and aggressiveness. And we do that by playing man-to-man defense, and we'll continue to do that. We're going to have to get better at it, but that's what we do. That's what we've always done. Does that mean we won't play a possession of zone? I'm sure we will, and I'll hate every minute of it. But we'll do what we need to do. The main thing is if we change something up, we want to do it because we want to, not because we have to. That way we're dictating the game and the way we want to play. But offensively, we're still, as a younger coach, I wanted control of every pass, every shot, every dribble. As I've learned and become hopefully a little bit wiser, I've really enjoyed starting to teach concepts instead of plays. So we're trying to teach these kids how to play the game instead of run plays. Even though we will run a set or two as entries, we're still going to try to get up and down the floor and get as many paint touches as we can, finish at the rim, get fouled, or kick out and shoot wide open threes. How well we shoot it. I think any coach would tell you how well you shoot it from the perimeter. It's going to dictate a lot of things as far as what you do with the rest of it. So, but you'll see the same stuff, just different people.
Okay, Coach. Okay, Coach. That concludes our interview. So we appreciate you all for coming out, allowing us to pick your brains, getting a little inside of your program. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us.
Right on. Okay, up next we have Lake Hamilton High boys basketball with head coach Scotty Pennington leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. Thanks for coming. With that said, give us an introduction of yourself and the players you brought with you, please.
Like I said, I'm Scotty Pennington. God has blessed me to be the head coach at Lake Hamilton for 13 years now. Been very blessed lately. We've been in 4 of the last 6 Final Fours in 5A, something we're very proud of. Today, I brought, starting on the end, senior guard Nate Vance. Nate is a transfer from Cabot, which is kind of ironic because Cabot was just on before us. Also brought senior guard Aaron Abernathy. And then to my left, senior guard Zane Pennington. Zane is a returning all-conference and all-state player for us last year.
So, Coach, you always seem to be in the mix. Like you said, the last Final Fours, you always seem to be in the mix. What's your strategy? What's your motivation that you give your team to keep them pushing towards that goal?
Well, I think the first thing is it took a few years at Lake Hamilton to get it to this point, but our kids believe that they should win. And that's a huge thing in coaching, is just getting your kids to believe. We joked about it in the bathroom earlier. We look more like a debate team than we do a basketball team. So we don't always pass the eye test, but our kids know how to play the game. They play extremely hard, and they truly believe every game they're going to win the game. And so that's the number one thing. And as far as to be able to execute that belief, I feel like we've always had really good guard play. You look several years back, you had Demetrius Sharp, and then you had Zach Pennington, and then last year with Ty Robinson, and now with these three guys, we've always had really good guard play. And if you have good guards, you're going to have a chance to win the game. And so this team is going to be no different. Matter of fact, we're all guards. We're starting 5 guards. Zane is going to play the point at 6'3", and he is our biggest starter right now. So we're going to be smaller, but we're going to be hard to guard because we feel like we're putting 5 kids on the court that are all 40% three-point shooters or better at the same time. And that's very difficult to guard at times. So that's what this team will be built on, is number one, a belief that we can win, and 2, great guard play.
Speaking of guard play, Zane, man, you look like you've been hitting them weights. You hit a growth spurt and everything. So give us an insight on that off-season workout and what you've been doing to prepare yourself for this season.
Yeah, he's honestly just been killing us. We stepped it up a little bit from last year. We got conditioning plus strength training plus playing on the court an hour. So I think all of us can attest that we've all jumped up in our maxes, bench squat, stuff like that. And then, of course, we all do our own stuff after we leave the practice.
Right. And for the rest of you guys, I'm pretty sure Coach is leaning on you heavily for playing that leadership role. Give us some insight on just how that leadership role is impacting you all and how you plan on transferring it to this season.
Yeah, well, leadership is a important thing for our team. We got a lot of guys that can score the ball, and we got to encourage one another, and we got to move the rock. So if we just move the rock and play together, great things are going to happen for us. And leadership is going to become a important part in that. So.
First of all, I think our team chemistry is a big part of our thing. I think we all 5 just adore playing with each other. We all 5 will one person will score 20 and we all give credit to that person, or we'll all have one time where all of us are in double digits. I think all of us took a role where we just want to get the win in anything we have to do.
Coach, I'm going to call you out a little bit. You said that your team kind of looks like a debate team versus a basketball team, but then you talk about how they're all 40% three-point shooters. And I saw a video not too long ago about your guys getting real bouncy. Looked like several were dunking after practice. So I'm going to call you out a little bit. Seems to me you got a lot of athletic kids and a lot of great shooters.
Sneaky hops. Yeah, some sneaky hops up here. So that Nate definitely has a lot of bounce to him. Zane as well. And they may not look the part when they run out, but you get in warm-ups and you see guys as high as they are, you realize that looks can be deceiving. Now, we're not going to get in and discuss Aaron's athletic abilities as far as jumping high and running fast, but the thing about Aaron is Aaron shoots the ball extremely well. Last year, in the absence of Ty Robinson, the first 5 or 6 games of our season, Aaron was averaging 17 points a game. And then when Ty came back, went to a lesser role and played a role off the bench for us and coming in as being kind of a zone buster. And Aaron's kind of a coach on the floor. He wants to be a high school basketball coach when he graduates and goes to college. Very intelligent on the court. Bless his heart, he has the job of getting everybody in the right spot at times. and sometimes that frustrates him in practice. But where he may not have an athleticism, he makes up for it with intelligence.
Yeah, Coach, your team is always one of those sleeper teams that, like they tend to get overlooked at times, but at the same time respected. So how do you balance that mentality with your team? Letting them know, hey, look, don't be too high, don't be too low. How do you balance that?
Well, if you look at our shirts, our motto for the year is "Prove them wrong." We don't hide from the fact that we've graduated some great players lately. Ty Robinson's probably the best player in school history. You'll see that when he takes the floor for UCA. He's incredible. Very underrated, if that's even possible. But these guys don't shy away from that. We know that. We hear the murmurings that surely they're going to take a dip, right? They can't be as good as they were because Ty's gone. And so we're taking a lot of time and, and even having a team motto, even in our huddle, we finish practice with "Prove them wrong." And that's our mindset. We're going to prove people wrong that even though Ty's gone, and you're talking about 30 points and 10 rebounds a game, we don't have to have a Ty to be replaced. We're going to replace 30 points and 10 rebounds. It may be 5 guys that do that, but all we've got to do is get that covered and we'll be fine. And so that's our mentality. It's next man up. Program keeps rolling. We're going to keep winning. We're going to play it the right way, play smart, play together, share the ball, move the ball, be hard to guard, and shoot it extremely well, hopefully. That's the plan.
Man, that Lake Hamilton community, that support the fans, what they provide is almost unmatched from what I've seen over the years. Give us a little insight on just how that community support will help fuel your team.
Our guys feel that. There's no doubt. We were a little concerned when we built our arena 7 or 8 years ago that you'd lose the atmosphere. The old gym, as bad as we were when I first got there, it would be rocking even when we were bad because of the size of it. And you build that big, 2,300 seat arena and you feel like you're going to lose that, and it just hasn't happened. We just have more people there because it's more comfortable to come and watch. So our community's huge for us. They travel well. In the past, we've gone to tournaments as far as Branson, Missouri, and we'll have more people there than Branson does for a home game in Branson, Missouri. So great community backing, great backing from our administration, our athletic directors, superintendent, principals. They're fully behind us, and we feel that all the way.
Zane. So, I'm pretty sure Coach is leaning heavy on you. So I know you're talking to your brother. Yeah. So give us a little insight on just how your brother is, that information he's passed down to you to help push you this season.
Well, the main thing he taught me was how to play with my dad as the coach, But being able to flip that switch from family to business on the court, that's the main thing that he really taught me, and I got to see that the entire time I was just growing up and seeing that, and that's the main thing. When it comes to on the court, Ty was one that I really observed last year, his leadership. He's kind of a show by example type of guy, and he could have the worst 4 bench players on the team, and we're playing a scrimmage, he's going to win it every time. So I'm just trying to lead by example and stuff.
Right on. Well, I always ask this, Coach, and I'm going to ask it. I know you probably don't want me to, but I'm going to ask it. So I know that non-conference schedule on into your schedule. What's that one team that's on your schedule or a player that's on your schedule that you're looking to play?
Well, our non-conference schedule, we make it brutal as we can because we want to test our kids. We want to get them ready for our conference. And our conference, as you can see, the last several years, if someone in our conference has won the state championship. Pine Bluff finished 3rd in our league last year and won the state championship. I do feel like Benton is, on paper, far above everyone else in 5A right now with the entire roster coming back, and then also adding some more transfers to that roster. So I would have to say Benton is one that will really test us, and they have size where we don't, so that concerns me. It's funny that Marion walked in. We found out that at Cabot we're going to get to play Marion. That's going to be great for us because that's a team out of the East that we feel is favored to win the East. That's going to be a really good non-conference game just to get a gauge at where we are statewide. And so we're excited about that. We open up with Valonia, which is another team that has had a lot of success. And we don't shy away from playing people. That's the only way you get better. That's the only way you find out what you really have. And that's what we're going to do this year as well.
Okay, Coach. Well, that concludes our interview, man. We appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you guys for having us.
Okay, up next we have Marion High School girls basketball with head coach Shonda Johnson. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Hey, thank you all for coming. Coach, if you do us a favor, introduce yourself and some of the players you brought with you, please.
Okay, I'm Shonda Johnson. This will be year 25 overall, teaching and coaching, Marion High School girls basketball, year 13. I have a couple seniors and a couple juniors out brought me today. Over here to my right, I have a junior, Jordan Wilkerson. So Jordan started last season and got into the first game of the season, played in non-conference, and played against Little Rock Central and tore ACL during that game, first game of the season. So she's a junior, and so we're looking to be excited by having her back this year, you know, in the rotation. Over here to my other right, farther right, we have Tanaya Bailey. She's a senior, so she's going to be looking to play major varsity minutes this season, and try to give us some size in the, down low in the post, play a little forward. We're going to try to get her to stretch the floor a little bit, have her step out mid-range, short corner, and I asked her last week to start working on her three ball. And over to my left, we have a senior. Her name is Janiyah Lewis. And Janiyah has done a great job. She started last season, and she did a great job of transforming her body. So if anybody remembers Janiyah from last year, her face may have been a little rounder. She slimmed down tremendously, cut down on injuries because of, you know, lost that weight. And I believe that she'll be a little more explosive. She can play inside and out. And then I have on my far left, Madison Gillespie. She's a junior, combo guard. We've asked Madison to be more explosive this season, control the pace of the game, and get her jump shot off a little faster. And so these are my young ladies that we brought with us, and I'm excited for this season with this core group right here.
Okay, so Coach, you know, I think you went 18-11, finished third overall. So what's your message to your team this year to kind of push them to that next level?
Okay, so we did go 18-11, but we actually tied for fourth.
Fourth.
And we had to fight it out in the 5A East. We had to fight it out every single game. And with the young ladies on the 5A East side of it, Nelson got the bid over us because of points. So we split with them and didn't make it to the state tournament. So, you know, we have a chip on our shoulder this season, and that's what we're aiming to. I know overall, I believe this group right here should be still a little salty that they didn't make it to the state tournament. And so that's one of our biggest keys for this to drive us this season.
Yeah. So speaking on that to the girls, let me hear from you. And I heard Coach say you had a chip on your shoulder. So give us an insight on just how that chip on your shoulder is fueling you guys, you know, to do better this season.
So not making it to the state championship, it pushed us to like where we are now and like how our practices have been and how we've been really competitive and stuff and pushing ourselves. It like pushed me to be make it to my goal and get at the weight I am now so I can help my team and help us this year and be stronger and stuff.
Back to what she said, in practice, the very little drills that we run, for instance, not making layups, those can come down to be crucial this season when we play. So we push our teams and also push to be accountable when we are doing certain drills that we're making every layup and doing every little thing our coaches ask us. So therefore, when it does come down to where it matters in a game, where we have put ourselves through these sort of type things to be able to go and fully extend to do those things.
Coach, I heard you say something about injuries, and I'm pretty sure that plagued you last season. Are you putting anything in play to try to help with those injuries or to help prevent some of those injuries?
Yes, sir. So we have a strength and conditioning coach. This is like year 6, but year 4, I believe, with Coach Simmons. And so we've been working on actually just the bounding. We're just trying to make sure that we can land correctly because with girls, because we're so prone, because I have knee injury with women overall, just work on their landing. Some of our girls still land too hard for me, you know, to the point where I think that you're going to either injure yourself, you know, or injure someone else. So we're trying to make it so that they can land a little more softer. And we're working on our defensive stance and trying to build up every muscle around us in our lower body so that we can try to prevent as many injuries as possible. It's still left up to the girls, you know, with their nutrition. You know, we can only monitor them so much, you know, when they're with us. Also, we have to make sure that our girls are doing what they're supposed to do in the weight room. You know, that they're doing their reps correctly, you know, and that they are being explosive and holding themselves and whoever their group is accountable. So when we get into strength and conditioning, that's like a major point with us. We're doing 3 days of strength and conditioning, and we're dialed back next month. But we're gonna try to keep them as strong as possible. And I want to also talk about stretching. The stretching routine has changed, where we're holding each other accountable. So they talk. They're a talkative group, and I love it. But, you know, when you're stretching, you can talk and chit-chat. I need for you to be focusing on trying to get your muscles as stretched as possible.
Coach 5A girls is just unbelievably talented this year, and which they have been, but then you also added Farmington. There's probably 10 teams in 5A that legit think they can win a state championship with probably 3 or 4 out of your own conference. So tell us a little about scheduling non-conference to prepare you to go into 5A, not only your conference, but then trying to get to the regionals and then trying to get to the state championship because there's no games off.
It's really tough. So our non-conference schedule, of course, we have the Fitness 6A champs, Little Rock Central coming in. We'll play Cabot. We'll go from there. We have Little Rock Parkview, Valonia, and then we'll go and we have we go to Hot Springs for 3 days. We'll come around. We're going over to Bartlett for a couple of days. We'll get a chance to play Link Academy at Bartlett, Russellville, Christian. Who else do we have in non-conference? We go to Duncanville again this year.
Kincaid. we're gonna be up against Kincaid and Duncanville.
And that's what will open up with Kincaid. We're going to Murray, Kentucky. I played at Murray State, so we'll get a chance to go to Callaway County. They're hosting the Classic, and we'll play a team out of Illinois, on the campus of Murray State. So it's pretty strong. We try to strength of scheduling is one of my biggest things that we try to. The girls always say they want all the smoke. I want it too, so we can kind of gauge what we are. And we open up with. We're coming to Earl for a jamboree, and it's going to be exciting. So we're excited about that, too, because they've always been competitive year in, year out.
Wow, that non-conference schedule is brutal. Just with knowing that amongst the girls, just talk about how, that non-conference schedule is, how y'all preparing for it. I mean, what's the word about it around practice?
In practice, just going hard, doing the drills right, not only in that, but in the weight room too, getting stronger.
Yeah.
Post as a point guard, when we scrimmaging, looking, getting better at seeing the floor and passing it up.
Playing at a faster pace. I feel like this year we all play with a chip on our shoulder, so we held everybody accountable. We're doing what the coaches ask us, making sure that we do the little things right. So when we do play these hard non-conference games, we prepared more than ever.
Yeah.
So, Coach, with that being said, is your team peaking at the right moment right now doing practice, or you see any strengths that you want to highlight, any weaknesses you want to work on? Give us the insight, please.
Right now, I'm excited because the energy is there, day in and day out. We have like 22 girls. We still have some injuries. We got some kids sitting out for some knee issues that they're kind of nursing right now. And I'll ask them to tell you about it because they were talking about it on the way up, just discussing how practice vibes have been going.
So yeah, like Coach said, practice has been really, really competitive, and the energy is like really there. Us as seniors, we make sure, and juniors and stuff, we make sure our younger girls are being pushed, and so we make sure like everybody has to talk. At practice is a big thing. Everybody has to talk. If it's a fun practice, it's a good practice, and if it's loud in the gym, we don't like a quiet gym. It can't be quiet in there, and so yeah. Everybody has to talk, and everybody has to bring the energy. We can't have nobody has to slack this year. Like we said, we're on a mission, so nobody has to slack.
Coming in practice every day and being able to go and get it. Everybody in our gym, as of right now, we all go out and get it. We hold each other accountable. We push each other. We make sure that nobody is slacking. We have what we need. We just got to continue to work on it. But at that rate, everyone's doing what they need to do, and we're all being accountable for each other.
So I want to say our strength right now is the energy they're bringing and the work ethic. Like, we have kids really holding themselves accountable as well as their teammate. When I think about weaknesses right now, we're not very big, so we're going to have to gang rebound. So right now we're working on the rotation, on defensive rotations, so we can defend multiple closeouts. And also we need to make sure that we all crash the glass. We can't depend on forwards to only be the ones to go rebound, or one guard in particular rebound. Every single kid has to be able to rebound this season.
So how do you feel the team chemistry is at this point, Coach?
They like each other. That's always good. I like them, and that's even better. We're really trying to figure it out right now. We actually caught ourselves grouping them this past week, and with our groups, we're grouping them defensively. So who we felt like maybe the top 7 defenders were, because we want to press. So we grouped them together, but that's not necessarily going to be the group we go with in November. But right now, we're just trying to see if we can get a defensive unit together, solid defensive unit, and try to press and trap without fouling.
Is there a moment from last year that you can just recall, or you look back on, that you hint back to the girls to tell them, hey, look, this has never happened again? Is there a moment? Is there a moment from the previous season?
I would think probably first game of the season. Central, we kind of figured when we saw Central play, I was like, yeah, they're probably going to be contenders. But they were so bigger and so much bigger than we were. So our girls, I think they were shell-shocked. But when we got there, and they beat us pretty good, like they should have, because it made us go back and gauge what we need to work on. And I think that at that point, we started kind of trying to pivot. We started pivoting to the second half of conference. Nothing in particular, no game, but I do know that we knew then that the sense of urgency had to kick in, and we had talked about it, but to actually have to feel it, it was, and I think they kind of got a feeling of it.
So with that being said, I'm gonna ask the girls, is there a team that you all looking forward to playing this year? Any player that you're looking forward to play this year? Any matchup, so to speak?
I would say we got a couple of. I would say like Little Rock Central or maybe Link Academy. I feel like they'll be like real competitive and good games, and Valonia also.
To be honest, everybody in conference, we all got a few feelings towards them that we feel like we should have beat them last year. So really, anybody who wants smoke, come get it.
Okay. Well, okay, Coach, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all taking time to come down, give us the opportunity to interview you and get a little insight on your program and players. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having us.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, up next, we have Marion High School boys basketball with head coach Sammy Lewis. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How about y'all?
Hey, man, we're doing great. Thank you all for coming down.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all having us out today.
Yes, sir. So give us a little insight just on yourself and the players that you brought with you, please.
Yes, sir. So, Sammy Lewis, this is my first year at Marion High School coaching boys basketball. This is my 6th year overall in coaching. Super excited to be a Marion Patriot. It's one of those jobs that when I was at Jonesboro, I had it on my list that if it ever came open, I'd be more than excited to have an opportunity to be the head coach there. To my right, I've got a senior, Rylan Johnson, with me here today. Has a chance to play a lot of minutes this year and really help us at that one position when we need to get the ball up the floor. Rylan has the ability to make open shots, and Rylan's one of those kids, he's not the most athletic, but he's got the brain. So he understands what to do, when to rotate. So that alone is going to be one of the things that helps him get on the floor this year. We've got 2 returning starters. The first one to my left, senior Michael Lewis, played quite a bit last season for the Patriots, averaged about 7 points a game, about somewhere around 5 rebounds. We're really looking to up both of those numbers this year. We've expanded his role offensively from what it was last season, so really expect him to put it on the floor a little more, shoot it. Really great on the defensive side of the ball, loves to talk, loves to defend at a really high level, so excited to see him progress this senior year. And then To his left, I've got a junior, Ladero Robinson. Very similar stats as Michael last year, but really the same thing for him. We're really looking to expand his role offensively and defensively. He's a really good shot blocker on the defensive side of the floor. Has really worked on his jump shot this summer. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. We've got in a lot of reps on working on him shooting the ball. So he's already a really good back to the basket basketball player. He's really comfortable in that 10 to 12-foot area, but really trying to expand his game and give him more opportunities to play at the next level.
Yeah, so Coach, you congratulations on getting that spot too, the head coach's spot too. So with you coming from a program like Jonesboro, which is historic with their back-to-back 5A state champions, and to go to 6A and do the same thing, yeah, that was impressive. So you bringing that championship mentality to Marion, which is also a program that was, a championship pedigree. So how is it the transition coming from Jonesboro to Marion working out for you?
Man, the transition has gone really well. I think these guys have really bought into what me and Coach Malcolm have been preaching to them on a daily basis. And above all, they want to win. And so I think the last few years, the season hadn't ended the way that they wanted it to. I think on paper, they were probably the favorites to win last year just with all the guys they had. And so if I can come in and do what I'm supposed to do and get them to buy in to what we want and bring in that mentality, which they have already seemed to match that, I think it's going to be a recipe for success here at Marion.
So your coaching philosophy, give us the insight on your coaching philosophy, that you bring into Marion.
Yes, sir. So it's funny you say that. We've had a few bumps in the road since I've gotten here because the way I want to play is a little bit different than what they've done in the past. And so there's nothing wrong with the way that they've played in the past, but it's just different than what I wanted. And so we've got a lot of size and athleticism. And so I really want to push the floor and get out in space. We're trying to hunt the best shot possible as quick as possible. And then on the defensive side of the floor, we're going to be one of those teams that we're going to guard you 94 feet. We're going to pick up. They're really communicating right now on the defensive end of the floor. And just we want to be one of those teams where our defense leads to our offense. And so the more chaos and the more controlled chaos that we can create on the defensive end, the easier it's going to be for us offensively.
Right. So bringing that different mentality and that philosophy to here, how can you build that trust, amongst your players for them to buy in, so to speak, that with the way you want to play?
Yes, sir. So one of the things that I really have to work on as a coach is rewarding the small things. And so when they do the things that we're asking of them, I try not to look past it. I try to make a note of it. Like if we're in four-man shell, if we're scrambling and there's a good rotation, somebody takes a charge, we try and make that known that that was the right play. And so putting that reward and that emphasis into their mind that it doesn't go unnoticed when you do what we're expecting you to do. We've seen tremendous return on they continue to try and build on those, and the buy-in is there. Like, oh, well, that's what he wanted from me, and they recognize that I did that. It makes them want to continue to do it and continue to progress because they understand that buying in and doing what we want is going to be the way that they get on the floor. And none of these dudes want to sit next to me all night.
So with that being said, this is for the players. Coach coming in, bringing a whole different type of philosophy, a different mentality. How have you guys been embracing that philosophy and that mentality?
Like you said, he from Jonesboro. He came from a winning program, so it's second nature to him. For us to buy in, we hard practices every day, coming in consistent, being consistent, not having two bad practices in a row. One day we'll come in, bad practice, next practice, good practice. Just trying to be consistent with practice and high intensity.
I like to say that he's started a philosophy of winning practices, not only just coming in there going through the motions. We make sure that every practice that we make sure we get the little things right and that we have the high intensity. We always talking loud and make sure that our effort is up.
I'll say that every practice that he has been to and that we have had, that it has been very good. The energy has been up. We got a different play style that we playing it this year because usually we play slow, but this year we playing way faster so we can get out and transition and be more freely.
Right. So that was my next question. So I saw you guys play at the Big Miller team camp over in North Little Rock, and I saw the pace that you were playing. So how do you feel that pace of play will help you guys going into this year?
I feel like this pace will help us a lot. Like the bigs get the rebound, we going ahead pushing the ball. Defense can't stop us in transition. We got a big athletic team. We get the ball in transition, can't nobody stop us.
Like he said, we're playing more fast paced, so usually we're not just looking to stay in one spot. We always moving. Like one of the big emphasis on the guards is that all our guards we're going down the court. As soon as the rebound, we outlet, we out. So that's kind of the notion that we have, just going fast and making sure we get the right looks.
Yeah. So, Coach, that 5A non-conference, the non-conference schedule, I'm pretty sure you got it lined out to help them for the 5A, which is brutal. That 5A conference is brutal. So, how that non-conference schedule looking?
Yes, sir. So we, in my opinion, we probably will have one of the hardest non-conference schedules out there. We open it up with Little Rock Central at home, so we get the defending 6A state champions. Then a week from that Tuesday, we go to Little Rock Christian and play the defending state champions there. We're in the Hurricane Classic in Jonesboro, so I'm sure Coach Swift has us a nice, favorable matchup in the first round when we go there. We turn around and we go to Jonesboro and play them. I think everybody knows how historic and competitive Jonesboro has been in the last 15, 20 years. We go to Cabot. Coach Campbell is having a classic up there. We've got Lake Hamilton, Collierville, and Cabot in that as well. And we got another tough stretch after that. We go back-to-back. We travel to Springdale, and we play Bentonville on a Friday night and then turn around and play Springdale that Saturday at 1:30. So I try not to pull any punches in our non-conference schedule. So the reason for doing that is I want us to be prepared when it comes time for conference, it comes time to state tournament. I don't want the first time we see a really good program that we're shell-shocked and we're stuck in mud. So I'd rather put us through the fire early, and I want to know what kind of team I'm going to have when we get to January, February.
Oh, yeah, you tap dancing all in. That's a non-conference rule. To the players, just how y'all feel that non-conference schedule, is gonna help you guys. I know the conversation around practice, the anticipation of starting the season out. How do you feel that non-conference schedule will prepare you guys?
Like Coach said, like the hard talent we're going against, Bentonville, we got some guys we're going against, but it's gonna prepare us for the season. Like the conference is gonna be easy. It's gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be easy.
I feel like it'll build our confidence going into later on in the season towards January, and yeah, I feel like if we go out and play that, we'll be prepared.
Like Ladero said, we make sure that we get those quick punches first or hard punches first, and that should help it be an easier ride through the season and help us carry on and stay strong, like Coach said, through January, February when it really counts.
So, Coach, is your team where you think they should be at this moment in your practices? Outside of practice, do you think they are where they need to be?
I don't think any coach's team is where they want them to be all the time, but I do think we are making the transition towards where I want them to be. And so we preach all the time that I'm not looking for a big increase every single day. It's the 1%. Like, we're just trying to get a little bit better each and every day. I don't want to be one of those teams that peaks too early. If we're peaking in December, November, I think you'll be on that downhill slide come later in the year. So long as we're consistently making progress and we're peaking at the right times, that's all I'm looking for out of this program. Off the court, these dudes get along phenomenal. I have to run them out of the gym each and every day. We've done a few little team building exercises, so the more we've got camaraderie off the court, I think it'll be better for us on the court as well.
Yeah, So I know that non-conference schedule is brutal. That 5A is brutal. Is there a team that's on your schedule that you're looking forward to play, or is there a team that last year got away from you guys? I know you weren't there last year, Coach, but amongst the fellas, is there a team that got away last year that you're looking that you might want to face back again this year?
Ain't no certain team. It's just whoever trying to play us and trying to beat us. That's what we going against.
I will say there are a few games on our schedule that should be really fun for me. Obviously, getting to go back home to Jonesboro to a really competitive group should be a battle test for us, especially going into that hostile environment and having to play there. Like I said, opening it up with the 2 defending state champions. I think those games will be really exciting for us as well. Our conference is not the toughest, but our conference is well coached, and so we will have some games in there where if you don't come to play each and every night, it is one of those conferences where it turns and bites you in the butt if you're not prepared. And so the more that I can preach to them that every game matters and it doesn't matter who you're playing on any given night, just go out and do what you're supposed to do.
Right on. Okay. Any questions? Good. Okay, Coach. Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming down, giving us the opportunity to pick your brains and get an inside look on your program. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Okay, up next we have Russellville High School boys basketball with head coach Greg Chenault. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Hey, man, it's an honor, and appreciate you guys for coming down and giving us the opportunity to interview. So with that being said, sorry, could you let everybody know who you brought from left to right, starting with this guy here?
Yeah. All right. I'm Greg Chenault, head coach, Russellville High School. First of all, thank you guys for having us. Thank you for promoting high school basketball in Arkansas. To my right, I have our leading returner in terms of points per game, Donovan Villarreal. He's a 6'2" senior guard at 15 points a game last year, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Donovan's worked really hard in the offseason to kind of take his game to another level. He's added about 10 pounds of muscle. A lot of strength. He's added some mid-range stuff to his game that was already a very effective game in our conference. So we're excited about what he's going to bring to the table. He currently holds an offer from North Ark Community College and interest from several others. So we're excited about what Donovan brings to the table this year. Next to him, to my right, to your left, would be Caleb Campbell. He's a 6'3" shooting guard, junior. He was an all-conference performer last year. Led us in three-point field goal percentage at 38%. So he's definitely a long-range sniper, and we look forward to the year that he's going to have. He's a more well-rounded player than last year, so we're excited about what he can do. And then to my left would be 5'9" shooting guard Cade Smith. He's a senior. Last year he had 3 20-plus point games. So Cade has that kind of spurt ability, if you will, to change the course or the direction of a game, and also a great shooter. And then last but not least, to my far left, to your right, would be Malachi Siner. Malachi is a 6'3" utility player is what I call him. He's like a Swiss Army knife, do a lot of stuff for us. But more importantly than what he brings there is just the intangible things that are, sometimes hard to coach. Every day in practice, he's my leader. He's my voice in my defense. And as other coaches in the room know, I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. So we're excited about what a super improved Malachi Siner can bring to us this year as well.
Sounds like you got some firepower back.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, so with that being there it is. Yeah, it must be some over there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
With that being said, last year I think you finished third in the West. Okay. What's your outlook and goals for this season?
Yeah, so last year we were 24-8. Going at one point we were 16-2 and had a 14-game win streak. Our best player at 16 points, 8 rebounds, he goes down with a broken ankle. So we started, I guess you'd say we were somewhat of the favorite in the conference. And then you're looking at the 4 guys, the majority of the scoring or the stepping up when that happened came from these 4. So when you return players like that, they've battle tested. They're definitely mentally tougher than what they were in last year. So we're, I don't want to say a chip on his shoulder, but they're eager to prove what they can do in 2024 and 25, despite a setback last year.
And Coach, I wanted to talk about the 5A West because I think so you got there last year, Russellville. Obviously, I mean, I say they took a step forward. That conference took probably about 4 steps forward. I mean, it was just so much significantly better to me, at least from what I had gathered. And talk about just the way that I know last year you were on the podium, and just talking about the kids having to buy into the third coach in as many years, and the way that they did that.
Yeah. So, and I'll speak mainly to last year's team, but then the carryover and the culture. So last year was my first year. Definitely a buy-in. But then when you come into your second year, a lot of coaches will say, hey, it's year 3 that the culture just takes off to another level. I would say for this group, it's been year 2 ahead of schedule. And it's mainly because of the leadership and the buy-in from the 4 that you're looking at today. There's 2 or 3 others that didn't make the trip with us that I would include with that group. But it's that core culture of just believing in what you do on a daily basis that makes a difference. And sometimes that alone can be the difference in a game. Just the belief, the buy-in, the never quit mentality. And these guys are a testament to that every day in practice. So.
Okay, so to the players, considering that the run you all had last year, set a 14-game winning streak, give us an insight on just how that 14-game winning streak and what was the atmosphere like as you was on that road.
I'll go ahead and say, so before Lou got hurt, I mean, we was like he said, we had started that win streak. We was all rolling. We was all feeling good about ourselves. We all bought into our role. Like if either you're shooting the ball well, you buy into your role and do it the best you can so we can all succeed.
Yeah, I think during that time we all found a role that we played really well, and we got used to it, and it was working because we won a 14-game win streak. And then having Luke go down shortly thereafter kind of changed your role, and it made us all step into a different spot on the team and really tested us and just showed how we can adjust. And I think we all did really well at that because we continue to have a very successful season. So it just proves how versatile we all are and how we can all change our game to better the team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree a lot with what they're saying. I mean, a 14-game win streak felt really good during that because I don't know, going into that season, I don't know, like a lot of people, we were a lot of question mark, like they didn't really know how good we were going to be, and I think we proved to a lot of people that, you know, we're a solid team. We go on that 14-game win streak, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it felt good.
I would say the consistency part of winning every game, doing the little things right, and when Luke got hurt, it prepared us for this year to step up and have a better role this year.
Okay, Coach, that non-conference. So give us an insight on that non-conference schedule and just how you put it together to prepare you for that brutal 5A.
Yeah, I think of a 16-game non-conference schedule, we're playing up in classification probably 5-6 games maybe. And then the rest is in our classification. We're only playing down in classification maybe 2 to 3 games. A lot of it depends on tournaments, as you know. One of the highlights of it will be the Arvest Hoop Fest tournament up in Rogers. We're matched up against Springfield Parkview. They're always a really good team out of Springfield. Last year we were fortunate to win versus them, so they'll be coming at us. That'll be a very tough test up there, the Arvest Hoop Fest. We're in the Valonia tournament this year. That should be a very talented tournament. And then we play several respectable non-conference opponents, both up towards Northwest Arkansas and then back towards Central Arkansas.
Coach, what's some of the things you've implemented this year in your practices to help get your team over that hump, you know, to offset some of those things from last year?
Yeah, I would say definitely a commitment to the weight room for the mental toughness and the physical toughness. Not that we didn't do it last year, but I'll be the first one to tell you that when it got tight in the middle of the season, we maybe cut out a day. So we'll go 4 days a week, and then, you know, as the season progresses, we get into our maintenance phase. And sometimes it's the first thing that you excuse and say, well, we just don't have time because we're preparing for an opponent. I would say this year, this group has bought into that. They know we need that because we're somewhat undersized. So we need the strength, we need the mental toughness associated with that. So every day putting a mental test on the kids has been kind of a key to growth from last year's team to this year's team. Yeah.
So would you say the mental toughness is one of the key things that will help prepare you all?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel, like I said earlier, you know, when you've been through ups and downs with a group and then you get to return, what you're looking at here, when we lost to Lake Hamilton in the state tournament, this is who was on the floor. Our 2 6'4" seniors, one was a broken ankle, the other one was a hurt knee. So we lost 55-52 in the first round. And these are the guys that did it. So when you return the next year and you have that kind of confidence in your kids,
Yeah.
feel really good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Hamilton was, I think they finished to the Final Four, right? Yeah. So to the players, losing by 1 point, you know, to Lake Hamilton at that point in time, give us some insight on just how that was right there.
I would say, yeah, it sucked at the end, but like there was mental lapses during the game that we could have overcame, like turning the ball over, like in crucial times, could have took care of the ball more, and just took better shots towards the end. We started getting rushed a little bit, and this year we'll be ready for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a tough loss, but I think it's a good game to look back at and gain some confidence from because, I mean, these are the people we were looking next to on the court, and I mean, there's not a lot of change coming from that. And so I think we're all just confidence boosted from having a good set of players on the court then and knowing that we can compete with the highest level in the state with the guys that we got.
Yeah, I mean, I think it felt good. I mean, obviously not losing. I think we went there and we lost, but I think it showed the state, we're competing. We can compete with any team, and I think that's with this same group. So I think we can carry that into this year and, compete with all those teams up in classification or, in our 5A.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the loss hurt. We were sad, but we came to off season ready to work and buy in, and Coach told us what it was, and we listened, and now we're here.
Coach, I heard you say that the mental toughness would be one of the biggest keys. What is one of the biggest challenges you think might be coming up to this season?
Yeah, I would just say just the 5A West in general, as he stated earlier, I just think it's arguably the most improved conference. We have Farmington moving up in classification, who is a very, very good team. And then you got a returning champion, Alma. You've got a very talented Harrison. And one thing that's very hard, and I didn't even realize until you coach in that league, but when you travel, I mean, go up Scenic 7, ride Scenic 7, and then play Harrison after a 3-hour bus ride. And let's see how mentally ready you are. You know, like that we have to coach to that. We have to teach to that. And you wouldn't think that that would be a big deal. Go to Mountain Home, you know, on a Tuesday night. You know, get home at 2 a.m. and get up the next morning for class. And then let's see if, you know, you're ready to go by practice at 2:30 that day. You know, those things are a challenge as opposed to just getting in the bus and going 20 minutes, you know, and playing.
Okay. Man, sound like you guys locked in, ready to roll. With that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to pick your brains and get us an inside look on your program.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. Okay, up next we have Russellville High School girls basketball with head coach LaShonta Johnson. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Thank you for having us today.
Hey, thank you for coming down. If you don't mind, just give us a little insight about yourself and let us know who all you brought with you today.
Well, thank y'all again for advertising girls basketball, but also just high school girls basketball in general. I'm LaShonta Johnson, head coach of Russellville High School. This is my second season here. I've brought with me 4 tremendous young ladies. We have our solo senior down here, Morgan Young. Morgan Young she's been in the program her entire time, 7th grade through 12th grade. Morgan's made tremendous improvements through the preseason, and I expect her to do big things for us this year on the floor. We have sophomore guard, Jasmine Garcia. She's been in volleyball, so we'll be excited to get her back next week. Then we have Soraya Stroud, who is a junior, and she will be a guard for us, shooting guard. And then we have Kana Keister, who is also a junior. She was a big shooting guard for us last year, and we're expecting big things from her as well.
Coach, your second year at Russellville, you're in the 5A. 5A girls basketball is just unbelievably loaded in the state of Arkansas. Just was having a conversation with Coach Johnson from Marion about how tough it is. There's literally 10 teams in your conference that legitimately feel they can win a state championship. You know, you guys got knocked out last year by a solid team that I believe won Coach Johnson's conference over there at Greene County Tech. Just talk to us about on a game-to-game basis that you're having to get up every single night in the 5A. There's no real off nights. And then it just ramps up when you go to regionals and then state. So just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, last year, with it being my first year, it was different. I came from 6A, which is also loaded all the time in girls basketball. But Coach Chenault spoke to this, the travel in 5A. That's a whole nother ball game of play. Traveling 2 hours through the mountains, getting car sick, bus sick, all of that. And having a plan for all of that is huge. But like you said, 5A is loaded with girls. And as far as talent goes, there were no off nights last year. I felt like with it being my first season, we had a pretty good showing last year, being one of those top teams in the 5A and also being the second team in our conference. I think we did pretty good. This year, every night, it's just different. You know, it's not just where you're seeing the same type of play every single night. And I think that's one of the things as far as coaching, planning that. You know, sometimes you get teams that sit back and set up offenses. Sometimes you get run and gun teams like we do. Sometimes they're sitting back in their zones. So having to prepare differently for every single game is also different as well.
And Coach, talk about in your first year, like Coach Chenault, you know, your girls, like the boys, had been through kind of a series of coaches, and just talk about the belief that your girls had. You had, like we talked about, the 20-plus win season and just how that went throughout the season, and y'all continued to gain each other's trust.
Well, last year we had a lot of senior leadership, and my biggest thing was getting them to believe in themselves. You know, I was their sixth coach. From 7th through 12th grade, I was their sixth coach. And so getting them to believe that it was them that were there the whole time. It really didn't matter who was sitting in my seat. And they bought into that really, really quick. And they played for each other and they led for each other. And we bought into the idea of setting the framework for Russellville girls basketball. And even though it was their senior season, just allowing them to set that framework of what the expectation should be and what the expectation will be going forward in Russellville girls basketball. And we ended up doing pretty well, finishing second in the conference, only losing to Greenwood throughout our conference season. So I was pretty proud.
So, Coach, considering you lost a lot of your firepower, well, your seniors, put it like that, your leadership, how would you come about approaching this season, you know, as far as, you know, leaning on some of the juniors, some of the ones from last year?
Well, the expectation was set last year, and it doesn't change. So it doesn't matter that we're going to be young. We are young. You know, last year, some people will say we laid the foundation. But after building the house, I could say we just put the plumbing in. Foundation wasn't laid. So here we are laying the foundation with this group here. The expectation of excellence doesn't change. They know that. One thing about it is, with us having a lot of sophomores and younger people, and maybe people that didn't have a lot of varsity time last year, they haven't been faced with adversity. So I've been their adversity every single day in practice. So it's just part of it.
Coach, I got to see you guys play a couple times last year, actually. Once in a team camp and once regular season. You're fun to watch. Your style of play is really fun to watch. Was there a little bit of, a culture change coming and installing that? And then I'd love to hear from each one of the girls about how fun it is to play in Coach Johnson's style.
Well, that's a loaded question. In October, it might not be fun in practices right now, but it was a culture shock. Some days it's still a culture shock. but I think getting them to buy into a different frame of game, it pretty much just changed the game of how they played. It almost looked like a totally different game than what they're used to. And getting them to understand that, getting them in the shape to be able to do that and have those fun games and those fun runs. And I think having the shot clock is major for us because it actually helps with the game that I like to play and I like to instill. We do go to Joplin and they don't have a shot clock, but then, so that's a culture shock that we'll see as well. But then we turn around and we play Blue Valley North, who has 2 5-star recruits on the team in that tournament. So you're still getting that diversity of a different flow of the game. But they can answer how fun it is to practice and play.
I feel like playing for Coach Johnson, it's definitely like a mental game for us. Like it allows us to think in different ways and challenge ourselves. A lot of the time the adversity we face, I feel, is mental rather than physical. And like I love growing into like a new person and experiencing new things every day.
I do agree with what she's saying. Playing with Coach Johnson, the adversity is mainly mental, and when I'm playing with her, it makes me push more than I've ever had to. So I would say for her, it's just mainly, all mental.
So I'd say coming from last year, it's definitely a different level of play and a change in intensity and like playing for each other and seeing growth.
Playing for Coach Johnson is a mental game, as most of them have said, but the excitement and the feel of achievement when you reach those goals and overcome those goals is just unmatchable.
Coach, I wanted to go back to, you were talking about Blue Valley and just out-of-state competition. Obviously, when you were at Conway, and Conway still does this, but plays some of the best regionally, nationally. Maybe some of the connections that you got and some of the teams that you saw, is that, I would assume, probably something you use at Russellville just from what you got while you were there?
Well, I'll be honest, that is my goal, to get there. I do like to take them on the road. I do want us to be one of those prestigious teams that get to travel, and not just travel, but actually be able to compete at that level. And whether they know it or not, that's one of my goals every single day that I come into practice, is that's the level of basketball that I want us to get to, because those experiences that a team like Conway gets, those are lifetime experiences, and I want to be able to afford the girls of Russellville and our program and our city those opportunities as well. But before we get that, to whom much is given, much is required. We got to get there in practice first.
So, Coach, when we talk about transitioning, I know you transitioned last year. What's some of the obstacles or biggest challenges you've been facing so far this year, where last year up into this year?
Just the overall concept of a bigger picture of basketball. I think, junior high basketball, I have a lot of sophomores this year. It's a much slower game. It's a different mindset of the approach. Mm-hmm. So the approach to practice, and you can't, I know I have very strong academic students, so they take care of the business in the classroom, but you can't show up and you just decided to get ready for my practice at 2:25 and we start at 2:30. You have to be mentally prepared. You need to rest. You need to have your nutrition together. So just the approach overall and getting them to understand that and to buy into that.
So that non-conference schedule, I don't know if you talked about it yet. I had stepped aside. Okay, so let's talk about that non-conference schedule and just how important it is for your program.
So last year, I felt like we were in 6A for all of our non-conference games, which it did prepare us very well. But as I said, going into our conference play, I realized the diversity of every game that we had as far as the travel time, how long it took to prepare, the different game systems that each coach had. So going into this year, I felt like it was very important to also provide that diversity in our travel, in the different teams that we saw. We will play some 6A teams, but we will also play some of those strong 5A teams. We're going back to Bologna in their tournament. So I just thought it was very important to provide that diversity that we will see throughout the conference.
And speaking about that schedule, is there, this is for the girls, is there anybody on your schedule that you're looking forward to playing, any team that you want to maybe get your leg back on that slipped through your fingers last year?
For us, I think every game is important. We're competing to win. Last year, we took a loss to Greenwood at our home, so that hit close to home. But we'll be ready to get to that state finals.
Okay. Same for you all? Okay. Anything? Y'all good? Okay, well, that concludes our interview at this moment. We appreciate you all for coming down, allowing us to pick your brains and get a little insight on your program. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Okay, up next we got Earl High School boys basketball with head coach Carl Miller leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing pretty good this morning.
Okay, Coach, if you don't mind, tell us a little about yourself and introduce the players that you brought with you.
Okay, I'm Coach Carl Miller, the head boys coach. This is going into my 5th year as the head coach of the boys, junior boys, and senior boys. I brought with me 3 of all 4 returning players. I got 1 senior and 3 juniors. On my left here, I got Derek Lately and Teron Hurst. Then I got Jalen Robinson and Clifton Wren Jr.
Okay, Coach, so talk about last year and talk about, how it turned out for you and what you're planning on doing differently this year.
Well, last year we was up and down. We picked it up kind of in the postseason, which that's really my main concern. When we get ready to start January and February, we need to be playing basketball at its best because now you're getting close to the time where to win or go home. So we was up and down, but we was very young because these guys were sophomore, which Teron been with me. I moved him up as a 9th grader and made it to the finals, and then made it to the Final Four one year, and then I got Jalen Robinson here. I think it was first time playing that long of a season. Then the other 2, they can play when they play together. And I got other players, you know, that I couldn't bring with me that's going to help along this season. But the thing is, the thing for this season is we got to play hard and play together. And if you're not coming to work every day, because we have I have a strong sophomore class along with a junior class, and I got a few seniors. But like I told them, you got to come to work every day, and you got to come play hard. Otherwise, you won't have no uniform. You would not be playing. Because I'm not going, you get that window of opportunity there, and you feel pretty good about the group of kids you get. So we got to put everything in there. And I got great coaches to help me with Coach Witherspoon, which should be a head coach somewhere, but eventually she'll take it. Then I got Coach Dale Walker. Then I got one of the guys' father. He's around a lot. He helps out to run hers. Then I got a great administration in there that helps out a lot too, help support everything around there.
Okay. You all hear Coach, so let's talk about from the players. Let me hear from the players. Let's talk about your outlook for this season, this upcoming season, and talk about what you're going to do differently or what you're bringing differently this year to help, get y'all to the next level. Yeah, well, I'll talk close to the mic. You can go for it.
I think most of all, we'll need to be more in shape, because I think from the past summer, from us working out, we're gonna implement our, athleticism and our speed in order to force our will over opponents. So we're gonna need to be energized, because we're gonna press a lot of people and get after it.
Okay, so coming into this season, I feel like we're going to be prepared, ready, because we're going to have a lot of ninth graders that's going to move up. Ninth graders going to move up, and a lot of sophomores that's going to be there ready. And our senior last year, he played a good part in the role and stuff, but he gone, and we got to fill in, be ready.
I feel like you got to come in and lead the team or set the tone on offense and defense.
I think we just need to play as a team more.
Okay.
Coach, I'd like for you to expand on, what he was talking about. He said, probably going to play a little more pressure this year, play a little faster. Is that a different pace of play from the past couple of years? Maybe talk about a little pressing a little bit. Is that a little bit of different pace of play? You're going to take it a little more to the opponents than what you've done in the past?
Well, we're going to take a lot more, not just a lot more, because that's Bulldog history there. That, when we get out in transition, we one of the better teams. And like I said, in all classification, when you want to get up and down, and if we come in there in shape and get ready to play, we can play with some of the best of them. Like I told them, they look at our schedule this year. Like I told them, I said, we're not going to back down. We got to get ready for every opponent. Even though we dropped down the classification, I said they can play basketball. It's not, I always tell people, it don't matter what 1, 2, or 3, whatever age it is, everybody's coming out to play basketball. And when you put that Earl uniform on, they coming at you because you have such history there, for basketball.
I wanted to ask you, I know we're focused on this year's team, but you graduated Joseph McVeigh last year and now playing for a really good Vanderbilt team, caught a 65-yard touchdown a couple weeks ago. What especially NEA being overlooked in recruiting in multiple sports, what is an athlete like that got that kind of exposure? And, you have college coaches coming in and they see other athletes on top of that. What does having a kid like Joseph sign with Vanderbilt do for Earl?
Well, that's big, and I even go first back in with Gary Bohanna. Like I tell people, the gym is always open. The football field always. You can come by any time to check out. We got just like these 4 guys I brought here. All of them should be playing. They should, and when they graduate, they should be playing major ball right now. He's being recruited. Jaden Brown being recruited by Arkansas State right now. All these guys should be playing. And I always say, it's no knock. Our kids in Northeast Arkansas can play just as well with the kids, with the rest of the state. Just come down. I told them, I do not have a closed gym, or we have a closed football facility. If you want to come see this kid up close in person, you are more than welcome to come, because you're sleeping on a lot of good talent in there in Crittenden County, up around Craighead County, Poinsett County. You're just missing out on some good athletes around there. So I welcome anybody in the state to come by anytime to come check out some of the kids, because you don't have to go to Missouri, you don't have to go to Texas. Those same kids right here in Northeast Arkansas.
Coach, you just hit some a minute ago about Earl across the chest. I mean, you talked several times about, regardless of what you guys' record is, you're going to compete. Everybody's coming for Earl. Have these guys done anything during the off season or up until this point right now that surprised you in a good way, that you kind of looking forward to seeing once the season kicks off?
Yes, one of the things that surprised me that this accountability, this conversation that's been talked about a lot, holding each other accountable. And I said, well, you got to hold each other accountable on and off the field and the court. And then they've been talking a little bit more, and they know last year we should have played better some games, but we come out of a tough conference. I mean, the conference that we left, not saying the conference we going in is not going to be strong, but the last 2 years, you had to bring it every night. Wasn't no nights off when you got ready to play in that conference I just left. So I honestly believe in these guys. They've been with me. Even from 7th grade through 9th grade to run them, I think we may have lost 5 games from 7th grade all the way up to their 9th grade year. We might have lost. So I feel good about this group of kids.
Coach, so far, what's your biggest area of improvement that you see?
Leadership. If I had to pick out, these 11th graders, and I even see it out on the football field, those 11th graders and 10th graders, they are leading a lot more. I can tell the growth about their language, the way they talk, and the way they behave too. Even in the hallways, in the classroom, I can tell the maturity level they started growing each day.
So this to the players. I just heard Coach say that he noticed the leadership amongst you all. Talk about how that leadership has permeated throughout the squad, and where is it coming from?
I think this year we wanted to be more of a team democracy. So everybody got to say so. Ain't nobody over the other. And we all just take everybody's word into accountability. And we just grow from there.
Okay. Well, to me, I look at, a team, and if you got great leadership on a team, I feel like a team can be one of the best. You can go levels that you never thought you can go. So with that being said, where do you all amongst each other right now see yourselves, or what would be the key? What I'm trying to say is, what's the key to you all's success this year? What would be that key?
Playing as a team.
I'm sorry. Get close to the mic. I can't hear you.
Playing as a team.
Playing as a team? Right on. So, Coach, I know about that non-conference schedule. I always want to ask somebody about their non-conference schedule. Talk about your non-conference schedule, please.
Okay, non-conference schedule. We got England, of course, December 19th. Me and Trent, we talked. We've been friends for a while and stuff. That's going to be a tough. And I told him, I said, well, I'm like Dion. I ain't hard to find, and I'll be there. December 19th, I'll be there. Then Marjorie, which is a conference game. If you don't get there early, you won't get in. And then they got Little Rock Mills. They coming to town. I have much mad respect for against them. Coach Cooper been around a while. He been one of the mentors for us young coaches. So I'm looking forward to that. But those games right there, I can tell you right now, if you ain't there early, you won't get in. And it's going to be a ball game. Because I told him, I ain't hard to find.
And I wanted to ask, last year you guys were in the conference with the 2A state champions. Now I guess you're moving in with the 1A state champions in Mark Tree. So going back to kind of the question that I was talking about, just the talent in Northeast Arkansas, how much does you can get input from the players as well. How much does that motivate you guys? Again, last year, and you beat the state champions during the regular season. So, and now you're going into another classification with one. Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, last year, like I told them, that conference was tough night in and night out. And you're talking about EPC, which they won it. We split. You talk about Bay, being coached by Coach Brown. You better be ready every night. Matt Mills up there at Rector had a great team. Pushed us, and we had to beat them to get to the regional. Then Riverside, which they brought back, they had a good team. You was talking about, and we talked about it most of the season. Those teams, it was going to be 2 teams left out that had winning record that should have probably made the state tournament. But you better bring it. Like I told them, we was prepared for it, and we had to win a Saturday game by 8 points just to get in there, you have a shot to get into the regional. And now going into this new conference, Marjorie have been having mad respect. Me and her been knowing each other. We from the same hometown, same area. We knowing each other. I got much mad respect for her because she know what she's doing. She's always know what she's doing, and I have phone conversation with her to pick the brain. Like I said, when you got, like I said, you got a Hall of Fame coach. Like even with Coach Murray, you can call him up, the one that I've replaced. Call him up and ask him something. You got a Frankie Gates that's winning the Hall of Fame. Ask him about your team. Then you got somebody like Barbara Whitman. You can ask, you ask different people, hey, what do you see what I'm doing? Even when I can talk to Branham, what do you see? I talked to Coach Stackson, just wanted me and him talk quite often. What are you doing? You pick different people's brain to see what you need to do better and what you need. Even my administration now, some of them, just hired a principal there, Coach Page. He just got there. Ask him a few questions. I don't mind asking. I'm not beyond asking for help now or asking what y'all see because I tried, or at least attempt to try.
Coach, what's your team identity this season? What is their identity?
I would say, if I had to pick one word for them, if I had to say what they would be intense. Because that's what I'm going to call for, to be intense. Game, I want the game to be intense because I feel like I can go between 7 to 10 deep. It's going to be intense and be ready. Practice is going to be even a whole lot better because it's easy when you can sit over there, ain't nobody pushing you. I got this laid back. No, like I said, I got a good sophomore group of kids and juniors. They going to go at each other. And I feel, like I said, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I feel pretty good. Coming out of football, they stay healthy and everything. I feel pretty good about this team.
Right on. So with that being said, is there a team that's on your schedule that the boys been circling or that y'all been circling you've been looking forward to?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. And I would say, like I said, those 2 teams, if you want to see, not knocking nobody else in our conference or anything, but those 2 games, you better get there early. And I told hey, just leave a little space for Earl when they come to England. I told Trent, just leave a little space there. Then we could play Marjorie home in a way that it sells itself. So, like I said, those games right there. And then I appreciate the guys that invite us every year to get us ready for up there at Harrison. We go play in that tournament. It get us ready for the following year, and they have a great tournament. And we've been going there the last 10, 15 years, and they do a good job with that. And I tell them, we go there to get ready for the tournament for postseason. Yes.
Right. Well, that concludes our interview, and good luck to you guys, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having us and having us come up here. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, up next we have Earl High School girls basketball. How y'all doing?
Good.
Okay, we got head coach Steve Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
Coach, give us a little insight just on yourself and who all you brought with you today.
I'm Stephen Jefferson, head coach of the girls, the Lady Bulldogs program here at Earl High School. This is it's going to my third year, taking over the program, which we kind of started. My first year we was 4 and maybe 22. So, we was in a pretty good conference that wanted some retribution for all those beatings Coach Gary had given to some teams the previous year. So, I guess, I think I lost all my hair that year. But anyway, last year was pretty good. We ended up 22-11. I moved up my daughter, Journey Jefferson, and she kind of helped us along. And also moved up Madison Dunn towards the end of the year after she wrapped up her junior high season. With me, I have some fabulous young ladies. I have Christian Boykins. We call her Ibby. She's coming off a season-ending injury that happened her 9th grade year, I believe. So that took all of her sophomore year. So she didn't play last year. So this year she's coming back and she's going to be a tremendous help. She's going to be coming in for man, what's the girl? Just graduated last year. I forgot. Oh, Dakota Laley. I'm sorry. Dakota Laley, if you listening, don't take that against me. But, yeah, so she's going to be stepping in for Dakota Laley, and I think she's going to be a good help. I'm looking for her to do good things. I have my super junior at the end of the table, Jada Maples. Jada Maples has been recruited by Virginia Tech, Cleveland State, where her and Journey's cousin, Kobe Maple, is, and she has Southern Miss, she has Arkansas State, of course, which they visited our gym a couple weeks ago. Thank you for coming out seeing us. And I think she has La Tech, but Jada Maples has 698 points on the season for last year, which is a lot. Journey had 688 points on the season, so people, kind of give me a lot of flack about looking at our score. And last year during the state tournament against the the conference championship game, Journey had 40 and Jada had 38, and we only scored 82 points. So, you're like, why is these girls shooting the ball that much? Well, they be in the gym just like that. They're in the gym every day when it's hot. They're in the gym every day when it's cold. I don't have to ask them, to get in the gym. They're in there. Even we just instituted our weightlifting program. So 5 o'clock in the morning, who's lifting weights? Them two. So I'm trying to get the whole team on board. But that's a tall order when you want to ask parents to get up at 4:30 to meet you at the gym to lift weights. But I think that the girls that I have that's not here with us, the Janaria Murray, Madison Pounds, Natalie Sanders, Nia Miller, and who am I? I'm missing somebody else, but who? Ariana Perry. I think that they're all, buying into what these girls have done, and I think by the end of December, you're going to see a good team that's, primed and ready to compete for a state title, and I hope that we get there at the end of the year.
Wow. Okay, Coach. I think you finished second last year in your conference. So with those expectations, give us a little insight on just how, you're preparing the girls this year to finish.
Well, our season, we're going to try to do the same thing we did last year. We have a tough non-conference schedule. I don't even know why I took this made this schedule like this. We're going to Bartlett, playing in one of their big events during the holiday break during Thanksgiving. I think we're matched up against Center Hill and Dyersburg, so we're going over there to play in that tournament. Then we're going to play again. We're going to play in. I play in Coach Ed Durham's tournament, the Strong Fest, that same week. So it's going to be crazy. And I don't even know who he got us. I just say, Coach, put us on the schedule. We're going to be ready. I got 2 of the best guards in the state, and I'm not scared to say that. These young ladies can literally go anywhere in the state and start on the team. And if our brother Miller was here, he'd say the same thing, because he's been covering them ever since they were in the 7th grade. And he's one person that has had an eye on girls basketball. I would like to give him credit, because every gym that I went to in the summer, he was there with his camera. He was there with his camera. He did an excellent job putting, making sure that, our part of the state was well represented, because sometimes people, a lot of people not coming down to see. When you say Earl, they really not coming down to see, but you've missed out on Kobe Maples. You missed out on Rochelle Scott. You missed out on Alasia Brown. All those girls are playing D1 basketball and have been, conference MVPs. So that's a strong testament to our community. That's a strong testament to our, how we build the girls in our area. Because when you come to our gym, we don't have air. we don't have all the amenities some of the schools have. We don't, they probably drinking out of water hoses in our gym. We don't have a lot, but these girls come and they come ready to work, and they've been working. That's why I if you go to my social media, you see me posting something about these two, because they really embody what hard work and staying with it means. But yeah, we have a great non-conference schedule. We play Greene County Tech. They beat us up last year, and I'm looking to get him back. They beat us by 22, so I'm playing him in Marmaduke's tournament, so I'm looking to get him back. He didn't want to come play me in Earl, and I ain't gonna hold him against that. So I told him I'd come see him in Marmaduke. I play you in Marmaduke and see what'll happen. But I like to have fun with the coaches, man. But, when you getting beat by 20 points and 30 points and 40 points like I did in my first season, and now I got me something that I can bring with me, and we can see what's gonna happen.
Well, now I want to talk about that non-conference. You pointed a good bit of it out, but you got PA, you got a Mills team that's going to, they improved drastically last year and are just going to keep getting better. I think West Memphis I saw in there as well. And so you talked about how definitely two of the best guards in the state, regardless of classification. And so is that kind of your philosophy? We've heard a lot over the past day and a half about how it's not really about what you're doing in November and December, more so February and March. So was that kind of your philosophy behind that, is just get the best of the best no matter the class?
Yeah, I want them to play against the best of the best, because again, we're from small town Earl, so we already have a chip on our shoulder. We already know that nobody's checking for the girls down there. So hey, if I did a lot of calling in January and March and trying to get games and stuff like that. But, some people picked up the phone, some did not. But I'm glad that we got the schedule that we have. The coach at Pulaski Academy, she was ready. Hey, coach, come on, bring them on. You want me to come to your place or my place? I said, I'll come on down that road, because I got to come to we'll have meals coming to our place. And, we turn the heat on in the wintertime. We like our gym to get kind of toasty to see if you can handle it. And that kind of helps our girls out, because they've been playing in it all year.
And Journey, I got to ask you, every time a coach's kid comes, how do you and your dad, as far as separating the home life, separating the court? I'm sure he pushes you pretty hard. So, how has that been for you, especially now that you're in your varsity career?
It's a little difficult sometimes, knowing that he's my father and he's my coach at the same time, because when he's get on my tail about stuff in practice, I can't help that it gets to me at home. So I feel like it's just like we have to even it out,
Really? Okay, so with you all being some of the leaders on the team, talk about how last year, how it's feeling you all to get back not only to where you was at, but to go past that. Talk about it.
I think we have to not be nervous and continue to play together. We have to stay focused in order to succeed further than what we did last year. So I think that's the main key. I feel like last season, the team was kind of dependent on me and Jada, and I feel like that's going to change this season, because, we have I feel like we're a better team now. So you're going to be seeing a lot of girls doing other things rather than just me and Jada.
I feel like we should play as one all together. We should not, like Journey and Jada said, not depend on them. I feel like we don't have a lot of height on our team, so we got to step up and get rebounds, and yeah.
I feel like the main problem on our team is that we don't stay in shape consistently. We take breaks. We sometimes push ourselves in practice, but it's really just staying in shape.
Jada, Coach mentioned about your offers, about how well you've played, everything that's coming to you individually. But I want you to talk a little bit more now that you're the elder statesman on the team. Talk about your leadership and how you've embraced that role and what you still need to do to become even a better leader.
I try to encourage our players to push themselves in practice. You know, it can be discouraging sometimes because all the running we do, but it's really, I think we're going to be pretty good this year, and I'm still working on becoming a leader. So yeah.
Coach, these ladies always have been fun to watch. I saw you guys probably 3 or 4 times last year, but almost like the boys, the name across the chest says a lot. And that's just me because Earl has always been good for years. Have you seen anything out of these young ladies during the offseason or during preseason that's surprised you or have doing things that maybe you didn't expect them to do at this point before the season starts?
Yeah, I was actually with those two, I'm always with them. You know, I'm always with Journey and Jada. But I was actually thinking about that on the ride up here. I think Madison Dunn is probably the most athletic big I've seen. She's not that tall, but I've seen her like in practice, down on the other end, just literally just go up for a layup, take the ball between her legs, and lay the ball up. She's like that athletic. I was like, man, oh my goodness, and she can jump out the gym. She has a good pedigree. She comes from a family of nothing but ballers. Like I played with some of her uncles and her relatives, and they were all athletes. Ibby has come a long way since being injured, seeing her, and she has not once told me to, that she need to let up, coach. She hasn't asked me to let up, even with me, trying to getting them to run. I mean, the last couple of days, I think I was on one. They ran literally they went outside, probably ran 2 miles, came in the gym, and we just ran. Because I like I was telling them, man, we like 19 days away, and then we're having a jamboree, which is one of the biggest jamborees in the state, I believe. We have Collierville coming. We have teams from Memphis coming. We have West Memphis, and it's nothing but girls all day. So if you're available, come out and see us. Start at 8 o'clock. We'll have 4 games of junior high girls games, and then we'll have senior high games. And it'll be at 2 o'clock, we'll play Marion, who just left out here, and I was kind of picking with coach, like, hey, I finally get a chance to get you at 2 o'clock on Saturday. But they have never played before, so we'll get a chance to see them playing half. And some of those girls I've coached when Journey and them was a little bit younger in AAU and little city league. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, Coach. So to conclude, but before we do, I always want to ask, what's that one team that's on your schedule that y'all looking forward to playing, when y'all start the season back?
Well, we're moving to 1A, so if I was looking for any team to play, that would be Cross County. I owe him one. But now we don't know. We don't know who we're playing in the conference. I think. Do y'all know who y'all want to play?
I think we're just ready to play everybody. Like we're just ready to come out and play because we've been putting in the work and we're just ready.
Oh, I've heard about. I think it's Greer's Ferry. And I heard Greer's Ferry is supposed to be pretty good, so I watched them last night, and then people been telling me, coach has been calling me, saying, hey, man, if it might be just you and Greer's Ferry, but I'm not looking past anyone, and I'm ready to get the season started and looking forward to the season, looking forward to the relationships built in 1A, so, we just want to get going.
Okay, well, that concludes our interview, and we appreciate you all for coming down, giving us the opportunity. Thank you. Okay, that's the end of session 1 of Big Miller Basketball Media Days. We'll be back with session 2.